It's time for TWiT This Week in Tech. The first show of 2016 is a look back at 2015. Jason Howell and our team of crack editors and you have put together your favorite moments from 2015. And without further ado, here we go, a look back at 2015. Enjoy.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com. This is TWiT This Week in Tech, episode 543 for Sunday, January 3rd, 2016, the best of 2015. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the simplest way to create a landing page or beautiful website for your portfolio, your blog, your business, your online store. Enter the offer code TWiT and you'll get 10% off. Squarespace. Build it beautiful. And by Wealthfront. Wealthfront is a low-cost, automated investment service that's the most sophisticated way for you to invest your money. Whether you've got millions or you're just starting out, visit wealthfront.com/TWiT to sign up and get your free personalized investment portfolio. That's wealthfront.com/TWiT. And by Freshbooks, the super simple cloud accounting software that's giving thousands of freelancers and small businesses the tools to save time billing and get paid faster. Try it free at freshbooks.com/TWiT. And by Citrix GoToMeeting, the powerfully simple way to meet with coworkers and clients from the convenience of your computer, smartphone, or tablet. Share the same screen and see each other face-to-face with HD video conferencing. For a 30-day free trial, visit GoToMeeting.com today. It's time for TWiT and a kind of a special year-end TWiT. Hi, I'm Leo Laporte, and we first of all want to thank you all for being here for this episode, and I presume many other episodes this year. TWiT is the #1 station on the network TWiT. The #1 show, I should say, on the network TWiT. And it's kind of, because it was our first show, kind of has a special place in my heart. I love doing it every Sunday afternoon. We're always very grateful that people watch in such great numbers. And we try to do the best job of the week on the TWiT show. What we've got today for you is a best of. We've done this in years past. Jason Howell worked very hard with your input on finding some of the best clips from 2015. We'll be back next week with a brand new full show for you. But in the meantime, would you join me in going a little bit through some memories, a little trip down memory lane, starting off, and you'll see a lot of him in this show because it was kind of his year with Owen J.J. Stone and Jason Snell and me. And you may notice a little difference in my appearance on this clip. Something changed dramatically for me early in the year. Watch. Also here, Owen J.J. Stone. Oh, doctor! From OwenJJStone.com. And he's got...
This is for you. This is for you, Uncle Leo.
He's got some shaving cream. Actually, you're on for... Well, you're on because we love you, because you're great. But you're also on to give me some advice because... so we did you may know, we did a 24-hour broadcast, great success on New Year's Eve we call it the 24 Hours of 2015. Second year in a row we've done it, in which we say Happy New Year in every time zone, all 27 time zones in those 24 hours. In fact, we had callers from many of the time zones. It was great fun. But what we did differently this year was we were raising money for UNICEF. I think a really great cause. The United Nations Children's Fund helps kids all over the world who need inexpensive things like mosquito nets, more elaborate things like education, helps kids be safe from violence and exploitation. Really a great cause. Charity Navigator ranks them among its highest charities. That's what we wanted to use it because it was global. So everybody who's watching all over the world can get behind it, and because it is such a really well-run charity. But we had planned, we thought we'd raise $20,000. That was our goal in the 24 hours. Because, I thought, well, it's the first time we've done it. We have really no idea, but let's say 20,000. Jeff Jarvis, who's, of course, the wonderful host of This Week in Google, very kindly said, well, let me get things started. I will shave for the first time in 42 years. I will shave my beard if you raise $20,000. Amazingly, we raised $20,000 before noon. So Jeff kindly let me shave him, his beard, which I did a terrible job. He had to go back and fix it up. But then I'm saying this is an excuse because then I got swept away. And I said, well, if we make first, then Sarah Lane pitched in. She said, if we get to $30,000, I'll sing the song I hate more than any other song with a passion, Bare Naked Ladies 1 week. And she did. We did, and she did, and that was great. So I said, I have to ante up. I have to pony up. I have to participate. So I said, if we make $40,000, I'll shave my head. And if we make $50,000, and this I thought, there's never going to happen. This is safe. I will get a tattoo. And you see, those of you watching in video, I'm patting the padded part of my anatomy.
Sensitive area there.
That's where the tattoo went. So yeah, we got $40,000, and ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing left up top. And we also got $50,000. In fact, we ended up. In fact, you can put us over. I think we're well over 70 now. If you go to unicefusa.org/twit, we're at 61,000. But there's more than 10,000 from our auctions, so we're well over 70. I'd love to get even higher. We're going to keep that site open if you'd like to help out. unicefusa.org/twit. So I had to initially I had my head clipped, and a number of people said, that's not shaving.
No, you're full Lex Luthor now.
I am Lex Luthor.
You're Kojacking it.
I am the one who knocks now.
Yep.
And now I understand. And you're here to help me, to give me advice, because
I prefer to call it black bear and polar bear.
If you were only here, I wish you were, man.
The best part is we could rub our heads together and create static electricity, friction.
Something would happen.
Something would explode.
How long have you been bald up there?
I have been shaving my head since I was 23, and I don't know how old I am now, but it's probably 10 years or so, give or take.
I am Googling. Last night I'm Googling, first time you shave your head, what should you do? I'm Googling. I know.
The best part is people come up and want to rub your head, because it's
it was worse when it was worse when it was kind of short. Then it was like a little teddy bear, and everybody wanted to rub it. Now it's a little scratchy. It's like number one grit.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a little sandpapery.
Yeah.
And then, in 2 weeks it'll be soft and fuzzy again. It'll be all teddy bear.
Well, that's what I'm counting on, because this, unlike the tattoo, and I did get a TWiT tattoo on my behind. Unlike the TWiT tattoo, this will come back. I hope.
What if it doesn't?
Well, then I'll be you. I'll grow used to it. I was freezing last night. I realized that you need a cap. Do you wear a nightcap?
Yeah, I have hats. I have to wear a hat.
Yeah. And when you go outside.
I don't wear a nightcap.
I'm going to wear a nightcap, dude. And I think, frankly, now, this is for the first time ever, this pork pie hat looks good. This is the Breaking Bad look. I need to grow a goatee. So now I decided I'm not going to shave either. I'm just, as long as I'm scritchy, I'm going to let it all grow out. See, we'll have a race.
See what grows faster.
See which grows faster. Yeah. My beard or my head?
Let it be all even, and you can turn into a wildebeest man.
Anyway, props to those of you who do this every day, because I did actually go down to the Boulevard Barbers, and they are very good. They knew exactly what to do. The barber there, Sarah, used a straight razor on me. Have you ever used a straight razor?
I've had it done. I've never used one myself. I am terrified.
I wouldn't do it myself.
I have a very, very eloquent old gentleman that opens his barbershop at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I go to him and he does it. And I'm still scared when I'm sitting there. But it feels amazing. It is the best kind of shave.
It was great. She used essential oils, orange and stuff, and just scraped it.
She made you feel special.
But I'm not. That's it. I'm done. I'm growing it out now. I don't think there's any rule that I had to keep it for any length of time.
No, that's totally fair.
I'm humiliated now sufficiently.
Grow it out all year. Don't get a haircut and then donate it at the end of the year. Start all over again.
Yeah. So here's something very exciting. Sony Walkman. Big banner out front of the CES hall. Sony's bringing back the Walkman for CES.
Is it like Zune's older cousin?
Well, they did a Walkman. We had it for review on Before You Buy this year that does HD tracks, which is nice. It does the high-res music. I don't know. I don't know what this does. As you can see on the left, a gold headphone jack. And there's the Walkman logo. Isn't that great?
unless it's super small and it fits on like my wrist or my shoulder for the gym, what is the point? I have a phone.
Yeah, I don't know what the point is.
My phone plays music. Every phone plays music.
Right. That's what happened to the iPod.
Exactly. So what is the point of this, and why did you do it? I'd rather you bring out a tape deck and do something nostalgic for me as opposed to that.
What's funny is that Sony does make phones, right? I mean, it's not like they don't have the Xperia. Here's the video.
They're making pretty cool phones.
This is called Welcome to the New World. And she's riding in an elevator, but the elevator is going up, and she's licking a lollipop. Wait a minute, is that Android 5? But no, here's music and sound, and then there's a lizard. 5. Brilliance. The Eiffel Tower. Shadows. Hands. Rainbows. Double rainbow. Iris. Eyeball. Eyeball looking. What's the eyeball seeing? It looks like a Walkman. Now she's smiling. Now her hair's standing up on her arm. Oh my God, she's crying.
It's so beautiful.
That's a giant belly and a small child. That used to be his home. Now he lives in a curtain. Welcome to the new world, Sony.
I think we just got programmed to kill ponies or something. I don't know what that video did. That was a college student.
Oh my God.
What did that video did absolutely nothing for me, but made me hate Sony and the fact that it ended with Sony on it. Like, you put a small child on a baby's belly. That was the only nice thing in that video. I had to feel some kind of redemption in my heart. Just stupid. Who pays for this stuff? Call me, Sony.
Sony pays a lot.
I was going to say, that video proves JJ's whole theory about how our world is about to come to an end, actually. That's like that's a little portrayal of the machine-controlled future we all can look forward to.
I really feel like something bad should happen. Like, I feel like I just got programmed to do something.
Like there was subliminal messages.
Little blip in there, yeah.
Yeah. Owen J. Stone arrested for kicking ponies.
Shave your head.
Right?
Okay, just like that.
Well, you guys are more susceptible to the brainwave.
Shave your head.
Mind control.
You're the only guy with hair on this show.
That's right.
I'm scaring the children now. That's what I looked like with hair, by the way. If you go to stamps.com, click the microphone in your tweet, you'll see what I look like with hair. Gosh, it was a nice head of hair.
Can you just digitally take that and drop it on top?
Nice head of hair I gave up.
Wow.
Did I look like a different person a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. You look like a different person a lot.
You look like Ballmer.
Steve Ballmer.
I was
developers.
I was going to say Sling Blade. Ballmer's probably a much nicer comparison.
Sling Blade, thanks.
I was going to say Telly Savalas, but
yeah, you can. This is the other thing I've learned after I shaved my head again for charity for good cause. It's growing back. I'll never do it again. Disclaimer: is that you can tell how old somebody is precisely by who they say you look like. If they say you look like Curly from the Three Stooges, they're 80. If they say you look like Telly Savalas, 30s, 40s. If they say
Ballmer, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't work.
Well, Ballmer is a special case. That's a geek. That's what the geek might say. If you say Uncle Fester, 50s, right? If you say, you're Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, it's a young person. If they say Pitbull, I understand that's a rap performer. If they say Pitbull, then
You look like Pitbull.
you know who Pitbull is.
I do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
if
you
they
do.
say
You know what? You actually do.
if they say Pitbull,
Jason, picture of Pitbull, please. Or we could just cut
Just
you
pull
open
up the
and count
video
the
for
rings.
Timber. It'll be great.
Burfunkel says, you look like my dad. All right. I think, so really the issue was I shouldn't have used the mustard. There you go.
Yeah, you could have.
Can you say the bigger they are, the harder they fall?
Bigger they are, the harder they fall.
just like that guy?
Wow. Like
you need
him.
a little. You need the soul patch in that douchebag.
I need to go
Whoa! That's actually uncanny. You do need the soul patch.
You need the soul patch and the douchebag goatee.
Never smile.
And a tie.
And a tie. Because he's such a well-dressed guy.
He is a well-dressed guy.
I've been stalling because I want to wait till till the game finishes. And I think it just finished. So it's my guess it just finished. So we can now welcome... are you a Seahawks fan or a Packers fan, Ben Thompson?
I'm a Packers fan, and it's not over, but Seattle just took the lead. So it's
minute 25. Yeah, it's not over. In fact, you probably won't be with us for another couple of minutes.
Well, I don't have it on. It's not on TV here, so it's more muddling along with.
Can we point a camera at the? We got to figure because I got to do this without violating NFL rules, but I think we could feed you our video, and then you'd really be distracted.
I could stream. I mean, I could find ways to stream it, but that would ruin the stream. But
we should mention that Ben Thompson, of course, at Stratechery, which is the best, most insightful independent tech blog I know of, is in Taipei, Taiwan. So,
yes,
and it's early in the morning.
And agonizing through the end of this game here.
Yeah, I didn't know you were a Packers fan.
It's looking a little grim right now.
I wouldn't have booked you. You know what? You got Aaron Rodgers. He's got a great 2-minute drill. I think it's not over till the linebacker sings.
Yeah, I looked at the times actually, and I think I must have miscalculated the time zone because I was sure it'd be well over by now. But that's fine.
Well, you're not watching. What are you watching? Like a text feed? Are you somebody texting you the score?
No, I mean you could follow the game cast.
Oh yeah, in NFL.com they have kind of a thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll give you a play-by-play.
No, I mean.
So now a big guy in a black outfit, as it looks like he's wearing tights. I'll have to say, and he's running. He's kicking the ball. It looks like it was he kicked it all the way down to the other end. So that's good, right? And then the guy's running with it, but oh my God, they're hurting him. and then some people are running.
We'll manage.
So Aaron Rodgers has 12 game-winning drives and 37 opportunities. He's 32% for this particular situation. But I tell you, there are not many quarterbacks in the NFL you'd rather have there. I'll tell you what, Ben, you keep watching the game. There we go. We have the footage now.
I dialed into a feed direct from
Very
the
exciting.
game.
Number 1 is running around.
It's really exciting.
Number
game,
2 is in a fist fight. It looks like, but he's fallen down now. And now number 1's running around in a circle. He's actually decided to go back the other way.
This is the most crazy.
And number 2 is again falling down. That's terrible. Number 1's just running back and forth and back. It's terrible. I think that's Russell Wilson, isn't it? Just the humanity.
This is cruel here. He's just playing with the other team.
Touchdown for Tecmo.
This is the classic. Yeah, it's a Tecmo Bowl, and you beat Bo Jackson, and you basically see if you can run the entire quarter.
Oh, that's interesting. Really?
This is an old classic.
Is it Atari, Sega? What is that?
No, this is Nintendo.
Yeah,
Nintendo.
NES. Yeah.
Tecmo. So the idea is you just keep running until they tackle you.
Bo Jackson was basically unstoppable in this game. And so, yeah, the goal was to do a running play on the first play and then see if you could run out the entire quarter.
And I guess this is a speed run because, Bo Jackson, touchdown.
There you go.
Bo knows football and baseball.
Oh, boy.
Where do I see those great? It's Monk Bent on Instagram. Those pictures of that amazing stuff you get to eat.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I know. Look at this.
Ooh, good scotch as well.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh.
Oh.
This is just torture. I haven't.
Oh. Pure malt Nika whiskey. 21-year-old.
Japanese one. That's quite good.
Ooh. Yeah, Monk Bent is Ben's handle on Twitter and on Instagram. And if you want to. Is that a chicken foot you're actually biting into there?
It is a chicken foot.
Oh,
tasty.
It is. It is good. I'm not like some people are just massive fans. I'm not gonna go out on that way for it, but it's good.
Crispy?
No, it's very soft. It's very soft. That's actually why I don't like it as much. I find it too soft.
I was going to say, surely if you're eating chicken's feet, that's a sign that somebody else has stolen the rest of the chicken. I mean, there's just like
it's all that's left.
We had I got some barbecue last night where one of the best things is chicken butt, where you have a skewer and you have like 4 or 5 of them right on there.
Oh wow!
Think about it. It's very muscular. It's good. It's really good.
I'm trying really hard.
There's a tiny bit of gristle in there, which is a little disturbing.
Oh, suddenly I'm not hungry.
Yeah. Way to
Put
kill
those
snack
pop-pops
time,
away.
Ben.
Yeah, save them for later. Ooh. We got a great group from Canberra. What's the name of the school? Canberra Grammar School. That's in Australia, right? They came all the way from Australia. About 20 nice young men, and they've been here and they've been very quiet and very peaceable. Except once I said, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Why you guys are terrible. You have just shamed all of Canberra. Let's try that one more time. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. That's more like it. What the hell does that mean? Anything? No one knows.
It's showing our support for Australia.
Showing your support for Australia, which is a good thing, I think, right? Oh, and JJ Stone, how old is your daughter?
She is 7.
She use the internet?
38. Yes, she's all over the internet.
What do you do to protect her?
I have her on all Apple devices that I can look on my phone and see what web pages she's gone to.
Oh, so you keep an eye on it.
Yeah, anytime she takes a picture on her cell phone, it backs up to me. Anytime she's on her iPad, it backs up to me.
That's not going to work much longer. You know that, JJ.
How old is she?
She's 7. So let me tell you about the world that I live in.
Wait till 17. Forget it.
17. Wait till 12.
Yeah,
the world. Look, dude. I tell you what. I'll be doing so much espionage. When I was a kid, my dad used to sneak in my room. He put a little green film over a flashlight and go in and look through my notebook and my journal and be reading in the middle of the night like I didn't see him doing it. I'm gonna be spying on her so bad she gonna wish NSA would come in here and slow me down. So y'all can say whatever you want. My daughter's in jiu-jitsu. She's in soccer. She's in basketball. When she goes out on a date, they're going to be like, Mr. Stone, bring back at 9:30. You going to come on when she want to. She's an international spy, and then she will break your neck. I'm going to be all up in her grill. So I'm not worried about safety. It's these other kids we got to worry about on the 3DSs and the computers the parents don't pay. It's all about parents paying attention, and I'll be paying attention.
I agree with you. There's a computer, and you'll be wearing those shades. We'll have more of the best of 2015 on This Week in Tech. I hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you had a great holiday season, your Hanukkah, your Christmas, your Kwanzaa, your winter solstice. I hope you have a great new year as well. And we're going to kick off the new year next week with brand new shows. But we have some more highlights from the year past in just a bit. But first, I want to thank Squarespace for being such a great sponsor, not just for 2015, but frankly for many years on the network. And I'm glad, too. This was the year that I'm finally listened to my own ads after doing them for years. We've used Squarespace for many things, including our Inside TWiT blog forever. But I had never moved my personal website to Squarespace because I thought, I got to know how WordPress works and other blogging platforms. And finally, I just got tired. I just got tired of the constant security updates. It turned out I was spending more time on my blog updating it than I was putting content in. So this is it. This is my new Squarespace site at leoville.com. And I took advantage of a Squarespace feature I love, which is the cover page. I have a slideshow on the cover page, and I've been adding to it over time. That's a Christopher Michael picture if you're watching the video. Here are me and Jeff and Gina at Google I.O. a couple of years ago. Wedding pictures are there, too. And I love that cover page feature. But I also have my blog there, my photo blog. Squarespace is a great way to share your life, to share your business, to put up an online store. And in every case, it just looks gorgeous because Squarespace is designed so you can build it beautiful. You can reflect your personal aesthetic. You're going to start with these professionally designed templates. I almost hate to use the word templates because really what these are is just starting points for you. They have design features. They all have e-commerce built in, and every one of them uses state-of-the-art web technology, things like mobile responsive design, so your site looks great no matter what size screen it's on. These are things that would be very hard to do yourself. Squarespace makes it easy. And, of course, if you want to get geeky, there are hundreds of options, customizable settings, fonts, colors, page configurations, even a developer platform where you can do your own HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the like. So Squarespace is kind of the best of both worlds. A great site for somebody like me who just wants to put up content, a great site for web developers who want to do more, control more. And you can always get such a great-looking site that's totally unique, and that's important, too. That's why I don't like using the word template. This is not a cookie cutter. This is there's sites, every site looks different. Every site looks great. And in no case can you say, oh, yeah, that's obviously a Squarespace site. It's obviously your site. That's what you want. Power your business with e-commerce from Squarespace. Squarespace Commerce is the only platform that lets you create, manage, and brand your store in a beautiful way. It doesn't look like a cookie-cutter store. It looks like your site. Basic plan available, advanced plan too with additional features like shipping, plus incredible 24/7 customer support. If you're a musician, a restaurant, a business, they've got a template for you. Squarespace. Look, it's easy. Just go to squarespace.com and get started. It costs you nothing. The free trial doesn't even require a credit card. So you can really see what's there. You can even import some of your own content to make sure that site's going to look like you want. And if you decide to buy, all I ask is you use a promo code TWiT. You'll get 10% off and Squarespace will love us a little bit more, and we like that too. Squarespace.com. 10% off when you use the offer code TWiT, but try it free right now. Squarespace. It's the best place to build it beautiful. I love Squarespace. Let's continue on. Some of the best ofs. This was one that got me in a little bit of trouble. Steve Kovac, Jason Snell, Ben Thompson. Ben and I got a little fight because I happen to like Android better than iPhone. In fact, I even said something I might regret later, that it's objectively better. Watch. Apple probably also gets a pass from journalists who are unwilling to, say, be too strongly critical of it, because you don't want to look like an idiot when the thing sells so well.
That's not getting a pass, though. That's being totally rational. I mean, the reality is that, I mean, I think I was on before the iPhone, Leo, and I think you were being super skeptical of the sales, or at least one of your guests
I'm the idiot who keeps saying that, yeah.
Right. I mean, and fortunately, most of the time, you don't have, people like me coming out and reminding you of it.
Yeah. No, I don't mind, because I honestly don't think that the iPhone is a better device than, for instance, the Galaxy S6 Edge knocks the iPhone all over the place in so many ways. But that doesn't have anything to do with why people buy the iPhone, apparently. And the same thing with a watch. It has
or
nothing
maybe it's like what you value in a phone is different than what a lot of consumers value.
I think anybody with an objective mind would say Android is a far superior choice.
I'm not even getting into this right now.
That's good objectivity. I would like to see your dictionary later, Leo.
That's objective. If you look at the two and if you came from Mars and you didn't know any of the history and you looked at it, you say, well, I don't understand why people are buying iPhones. Why would you buy an iPhone? That thing is constipated as hell. You got a grid of icons. It's horrible.
I like the problem with this perspective, Leo, is the implication of that is that there's a lot of people who are dumb in the world. And
I'm not saying dumb.
No, you are, though, because you're saying, obviously, this is better. Why do these tens of millions, hundreds of millions of idiots keep buying an inferior product that costs more?
I'm not saying that, because that's an insulting thing to say.
Well, yeah, you're not saying
I'm saying people,
you're much more polite about it.
They're not stupid. They're for whatever reason they're buying into. Look at people bought Windows for years, even though it was a horrible operating system. But that's what you bought. That's what everybody bought. You buy a PC, you're going to buy Windows. You buy a phone, you're going to buy an iPhone. It's just the default. It's not that they're dumb. It's they don't have time to figure out which is better. They go with the default.
No offense to Jason, but you were dumb to buy a Mac in the 90s. Like
maybe in the 90s, there was some bad people. No, I agree. OS 9 and so forth.
Those were dark times.
Even the aughts. I mean, like, the reality is until the internet came along and most of our applications moved to the internet, there was just lots of stuff you literally could not do on a Mac, and user experience aside. And that was changed with the internet, which removed that kind of like gate. Like there's two different things when it comes to features. Some stuff is like it's a reason to buy, and then there's stuff that's a reason not to buy. And the reason not to buy, if you have it there, it's devastating. Like Windows Phone, for example, like not having a competitive set of apps, and even if the apps you do have, they're all inferior. That's a reason to not buy. It doesn't matter how good the user experience is, or how delightful it is to use, or even if you use all Microsoft services, you're not going to even consider it because there's a gate there. And that was the same thing when it came to the Mac. And to say that people were buying Windows because they were sheep, I think that's insulting to people. The reality is most people aren't tech people. They're not sitting around weighing this stuff. They have stuff they want to get done, and people, and in my experience anecdotally, but normal people who aren't technical at all, consistently find it's easier to go about their day and it's less frustrating, and they can do what they want to do more easily and consistently on an iPhone. And
no, I agree with you in the 90s. That isn't true, though, after, say, 2005, 2004. I mean, but there's a lot of momentum, and people continue to buy Windows, and it's still a 95% operating system. So that's my point. No, you're right. In the 90s, there was no question. I'm not talking about the 90s.
Fair enough, but well, I mean, you're the one that brought up the analogy.
You're the one who said it's the 90s. I'm saying, let's say 2000. Let's say 10 years ago, 2005. Windows sold out of momentum more than anything else. Windows Vista or Windows XP sold out of momentum compared to a Mac more than anything else.
Well, I mean, 50% of the market. Sorry, I feel like I'm being rough on you, Leo, but 50% of the market.
No, that's fine.
Is the enterprise market, which again, there remains very good reasons to buy Windows.
I agree. In enterprise, absolutely, I agree 100%. I'm not talking about enterprise. I'm talking about home
in
users.
the consumer market in the U.S., Apple is up to. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's not far from 50%.
It's getting there.
They are crushing.
Yeah, the momentum doesn't last forever.
Space.
We live in a world with friction. We're not in space.
But the problem again with analogy is the momentum is in favor of the iPhone. So I mean, apparently more people are getting dumb over time.
Does that mean it's better? Does that? Well, I mean, it's a silly argument. You like what you like, but I think just because something sells well doesn't make it better.
No, I think that's true. But again, I think objectively you could see that there are, for different people, different operating systems and platforms could be of value to them. And I don't think an alien that came down from outer space would necessarily look at the Android ecosystem and say that is clearly better. I think that it would depend on what that alien's personal preferences were and how they wanted to use their phone. And because I look at Android, also we got to say the difference between a platform and a product, where the iPhone has been
use the
such
Galaxy
a
S6.
Well, I think
that's a good example.
I think you could argue that the Galaxy S6 is one of the few, and in fact, as Ben mentioned, Samsung changing its approach and pulling lots of features out of the Galaxy in order to create a product that, by all accounts, is way closer to what Apple has been doing with hardware, and that people really like it. But a lot of these products aren't there. A lot of the Android experiences aren't that good. And so, it's not just the operating system platform, it's also the hardware, and Apple has excelled at that for quite a while now. And only now are we seeing some Android phones that can match it.
The first screensavers wasn't the first screensavers. Well, we called it the Revenge of the Screensavers. I think you may remember. But the first one was just us sitting around after our Macworld at a brew pub, chatting. And you saw that picture, Jason, because somebody tweeted the picture to David Prager of the group. Now you may notice there's one person missing from that group. Missing here today, and that's Kevin Rose, who was going to be here, had to get on a plane, couldn't make it. He has sent a video greeting, which we'll play a little bit later. But look how fresh-faced Kevin looks. He looks so young there. Roger Chang, that's Patrick Norton's hair sticking out. That's where you left it. You might want to check. The still lovely Sarah Norton to your left, David Prager, and me. And I had a recorder. And I was very spontaneous. I didn't plan it. I said, hey, let's just talk. We talked for 20 minutes. 30,000 people downloaded that episode. And I thought, boy, it'd be great if we could.
It was 30,000 people like the first day, and then it got up to like 130,000 in 3 weeks. Yeah, you were like, I think we have a thing here. We have a situation.
We got to do. But you were all in different places, and it wasn't. Kevin was in L.A. And it wasn't practicable to do a show. And then I think it was on the radio show a couple of months later. Somebody called in via Skype. I said, wow, that sounds good. What if the light went off? We could do a show and everybody be on Skype. So it was April. It was in April of 2005 that I said, let's just try this. We'll call it. We didn't have a name. No. The Revenge of the Screensavers. I have a list of things. You weren't here, John, but you came soon after. But
I was snubbed.
You, Patrick, decided you were leaving Sprint for Verizon. Who's your carrier now?
AT&T.
Yeah, so you
I was on Verizon for a whopping
fickle.
3 months because I moved into a hole in the outer sunset of San Francisco where Verizon did not work.
Yeah.
I had to walk 2 blocks to use my phone.
Verizon seems to be getting worse around here. I don't know if it's worse in San Francisco. Kevin said he hated his Trio 650. That was his phone.
That was kind of the first smartphone, I think.
Is that the one that had the lid that flipped?
It had a keyboard. It was the first one that had a keyboard, and it was kind of like a device where you could multitask.
It was running Palm OS, I think.
Yeah, it was like a Palm Pilot with a keyboard and CDMA radio.
He said he wants better screen resolution and a better camera. There it is.
Funny,
that looks like a BlackBerry. That's on Sprint. Everybody was excited for Verizon VCast.
I don't even remember that.
What was that? I think they were going to do streaming TV on.
It was like a media. It was some sort of streaming media.
It was their horrible the antenna or the screen would flip out of the phone. You'd be able to watch television over Verizon's network.
And
it was horrendous.
Work. Yeah. Robert Heron said, "I'm using Nextel."
Oh, man.
But I don't like the chirp sound when you push to talk.
I missed that push to talk.
You lived on push to talk.
That worked really well. But you know what, though? I ended up donating that phone to a good cause, so it didn't
You
go.
remember it?
Oh, yes. It was the first color display I had on a phone.
What was the tax write-off you took?
I took no tax write-off on that one.
$10.
Nowadays, I tend to save every smartphone I have now, since for a few generations at least. So,
which leads us into a Gazelle
ad. I'm just going to check here because.
Don't we have a video of you with a ball popping underneath you?
I think we do. You want to see it?
Let's fire that up.
All right, I have the clip here. It's clip number 7, please, of 33.
Number 7. Okay, that's the audio only one. This is the original one, right?
Okay, so this is the first time it popped, but it wasn't on.
It wasn't on video.
Different
It's
game
all about
entirely.
knowing the right
This was
build order and getting the right macros set up. It's bonkers.
Oh, man. As Will Harris is talking. I just had a little explosion here. my exercise ball popped.
Too many thumbnails.
Is that keeling over?
So people know this by now, but I like to sit on a ball during the shows because it keeps you moving around. We used to do the whole show stand-up. But I don't want to do 2 hours. These shows are too long, stand up. And I'm too old, so I sit on a ball. And Colleen, who was our chief engineer, we love Colleen Henry. She's so great. She was our chief engineer at the time. She said, Leo, you're buying expensive balls from Gopher Sport. I can get them for you cheaper. There's a Chinese company that makes it's the same ball, Leo. So we got Chinese balls.
It's not the same guys that made my fake tag watch.
A lot of people have said that about you.
Yeah, but your fake tag watch is still running.
I know.
And show the video. So even after the first one burst, you'd think I'd have learned. But we got a second one, and now this one had sprung a slow leak, and I thought, oh, this will be funny. I'll ride it.
Slowly go down.
I'll ride it down.
Mistakenly.
Doesn't quite work like that. Oh, listen to that. By the way, notice the great book, PowerShell in Action.
Oh, dear.
Full of skill.
I punched a hole in my ball. This is terrible. This is terrible.
I thought this would be so funny. I'll slide down.
I'm sinking.
Yeah, no.
The trap door opens.
The funny thing is, if you don't hurt yourself,
like a
it's
million
actually,
views on that.
You can't stop.
So is that one of the Chinese ones?
Yeah.
So you're a Chinese ball buster.
I'm not against China.
Give it to him. Give it to him, Roger. Don't put up with that.
Hey, don't look at me. It's not mine.
No, the chat room's very useful. Let them write the jokes, and we'll deliver.
Yeah, this show is going to go lewd. I'm absolutely sure of it.
No, because you're going to keep us on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Oh yeah, some great moments from 2015 on TWiT. It doesn't make sense to do reruns in podcasts because you can go back and watch any show. But I like the idea of picking out some great highlights of moments that were really exceptional. This, at least for me, and I think for a lot of people watching, was a surprising moment where we got really deep. Now, this was the return of Jason Calacanis. As you know, he and I had a little bit of falling out, of feud, and for a couple of years, we didn't have him on the show. I felt bad about that because I've always loved Jason. I've always thought he was a great guy. So I contacted him. I said, come back on the show, and we had a wonderful episode. That whole episode, 508, is fantastic. But it was after the show ended that things really got good. And so this is, I think, a great moment with Jason Calacanis and Georgia Dow and Harry McCracken, Owen J.J. Stone's here again, too, and me, talking about life. Watch. I'm really glad that Goldie, that you could
Talk
pay
about
tribute
Goldie,
to Goldie. I think that's fantastic because I didn't know him. But
I didn't either, but I've been moved just reading about him.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's it's very interesting. Like we live in a world like in this industry of like narcissistic champions of the world, and it's all about the singular person, whether it's Elon or Satya or Bill Gates or whoever it is, or there's some people who just go about it in a quiet way, and he was that guy who just went about it in a quiet way and was a mensch, and like we could all take a lesson.
Wow.
Everybody take a note, like bigger ears.
They were overseas when it happened?
Yeah, that was he was in Mexico, yeah. So it was just terrible, and it's
the best part about hearing you talk about a friend like that is it makes you think about yourself and think like, man, should I be doing better? I could be doing better. I was telling you about how that Elon Musk changed my world earlier this week.
Yeah.
You talking about somebody that you care about makes me think about the things that I do well and the things I should do better. And I got to go hug my kid this week, extra. You know,
that was my yesterday. It was like
that's
hug my kid
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know, people say to me like, "Oh, why don't you live in New York or San Francisco? And you should be." And I'm like, I can't leave my kid. I want to spend time with my kid. Like that's what matters to me. And I hope that one day somebody thinks that I did a good job. And with like the way you talked about him, that's great. It makes somebody who doesn't even know the guy feel for you and feel for that guy and his family. So it's rough.
Yeah. It's life is very perplexing, you know. We gotta have the Padre on, but you know, it's very perplexing when the best person you know goes first. Yeah. And that's the thing I've been just personally struggling with over the last 48 hours. It's just like
why?
Well, yeah, and it's just like, you know what? If I was talking to another friend who we play cards with, David Sachs, and we were just lamenting how, like, God, if you took this list of like the great guys, we'd all put him number 1.
Wow.
And we would be like, I told David, I was like, you and I would be like numbers 7, 8, and 9 on the list. Like, we're the bottom. It's like we should go first. Like we miss less. Like why does the guy who's the best go first? It doesn't make any sense. And then you think, oh gosh, the poor kids are going to have to grow up hearing these stories about how great their dad was. And, you know, there's something horrible and tragic, obviously, but then it's also something great that his legacy, I think, is being captured. Like you said, even the Facebook page was very powerful. I've spent at least an hour a day reading the stuff on the Facebook page, or 2 hours a day maybe.
That's a phenomenal thing that exists. That's a really great thing to have.
Yeah.
And his kids can read this 20 years from now or 10 years from now.
I think it's going to be it's going to be a mitzvah for them to be able to see, like, gosh, my dad was this special.
He was something.
He was something, and tremendous guy. It's just hard to comprehend when I think, you know, you think about the unfairness of death, right? And this is something that I don't know any of us will ever be able to comprehend. And after 9/11, I had this like very like existential crisis being a New Yorker and having been there of like, why did these people die? Right. And how is it fair that these people die? And what does it mean, you know? And you don't ever get over it, but I think you can change the way you live, and you can change the way you treat the people around you, you know? And a lot of you people know me because I'm a public person. I haven't always been the best person. I haven't always been nice to people in my writing. I've been kind of a little bit of a brawler in my life. And, you know, it's like I've been reassessing that over the last couple of years and trying to be a better person and better to other people, right?
Yeah. What will be your legacy?
Yeah.
And that's the one lesson that you can take from that is that, like our time is really precious here and relatively fleeting, and you don't know what cards you're going to be dealt. You can only say, how am I going to deal with the cards that I get? And it's a really hard thing to deal with. Our culture does not deal exceptionally well with death. We don't have really great means of helping people through it. So, you know, it's nice. Facebook and memorializing and talking about it is really helpful for everyone.
And Annie Lamott wrote a book, All New People. She said, 100 years, it's all new people, right?
Yeah.
And what that really reminded me is that, of course, some of us go sooner than others. We're all going sooner than later, really.
Yeah.
But what we have that's remarkable is we are all alive together in this space. You know, but that this was our cohort,
right,
of the people we got to share the planet with, and it includes people like him, like Goldie, like Steve Jobs, the people we know around us, and some of us are going to go sooner than others. But really, we're all in this cohort. That this is our group, and in 100 years, we're all going to be gone.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're all going to be gone.
We're all going to be gone.
What do you leave on this earth?
Yeah, celebrate this cohort.
We overlapped with some great people.
We have lived.
We overlapped with older folks. Someday we'll overlap with people who aren't born yet.
Yep. But we've lived with some amazing people in our group,
We've lived in an amazing time.
This is an amazing, amazing time.
It's like I think it was the Lord of the Rings, where Gandalf says, like, all you have to decide is like what to do with the time you're given. I don't. Yeah. I'm butchering the quote, but it always stuck with me. Like, we have this time. We have to decide what we do with it, right? And it is kind of freeing in a way. You have a limited amount of time, and choose to do with it what you will. But just know that it's limited. You know, I was like, have this really deep conversation with my wife, and I was like, you know, what's all this success and all this? Like, I lucked into so many different things in my life, and what am I going to do with these last 10, 20 years or months or weeks or days? Like, holy shit, like, I got to really start to think about this.
It's not long no matter what. Even if it's 40, 50 years, it
even
ain't
if 40,
long.
It just goes by. You know?
It goes by really quickly.
the coolest thing that I ever learned was when I did therapy at a very expensive old folks home. So I was dealing with the movers and shakers of the world, people that were multi-billionaires that ran huge companies. And the one thing I took from it is that they were on the last part of their life and they didn't talk about their companies or how much stuff they had or how successful they were. All they said is, I wish I could spend it with those that I love for a little longer.
It's interesting. Like people are like, "Oh God, you spend all this time playing cards," you know, and I'm like, "Yeah, I play cards once a week."
Social.
And I'm like, you know what? I see my friends every week.
It's a social thing.
I check in with my friends every week, and we spend
you
know,
real
8-9 hours playing a game and laughing our asses off.
It's great.
You know, and that was like,
it's not about the money, the cards. It's not it at all.
No, it was just always that.
It's about the cigars.
Last note that I'm getting out of here.
Yes.
Are you waving a carrot at me?
What is he waving?
I wish it was a carrot. It should be a carrot. I need more carrots. I need more carrots than not.
What's up, Dad?
Listen. You know, Uncle Jay's talking about, you know, not being such a great guy and all that kind of stuff sometimes and trying to be better. You know, I met Jason a long time ago, and I met him at a couple events and never really talked to him, just in passing, hello, whatever. You know, I'm down here, he's up here. And one day I go and get on a flight, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to upgrade to first class? It's $25." I said, "Sure." I sit down. Jason sits down next to me, and he's like, "Oh, doctor." And I'm like, "Oh, shit, Jason remembers my name." Like, "Hey, what's up?" Talk to him 20 minutes. He tweets out my website. He shuts my website down. Yeah. He says, "Oh," he's like, "I see you do these interviews with people. Blah, blah. Come by the studio sometime." And sure enough, he answered my email. I came by the studio. I had my little crappy equipment. He's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll videotape everything. I format it. I'll send it over to you." Had a nice afternoon. The guy let me get stuck in his Tesla. And, you know, I've seen him once or twice before after that. But, you know, in my mind, I defend Jason all the time because when people say, "Oh, Jason's this and that," I'm like, you don't know him. You see someone on the internet and you think that you know somebody and maybe he had a problem with this person or this person didn't like him. You don't know him. And again, for somebody like me, I'm not important, quote unquote. I'm not special. He took the time out to talk to me and I'm a regular dude. So you don't know somebody until you get to know them. And just being online and reading a tweet does not make you an aficionado on anybody. So I've always loved you, Uncle Jason. Just like I love Uncle Leo. Yes, you're a hard-headed person. Uncle Leo's hard-headed. But I'm just saying, when family comes together, this week
breaking it down.
This is the deepest panel we have ever had. You guys are full of heart. That's great. Why don't you host the show?
Yeah.
I found a new host.
That's Chris Perillo, ladies and gentlemen. He happens to be in the audience. Can you put the camera on him?
Chris is lovely.
Haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, come here. We got a new host for the show. Hi. You guys just keep talking. Don't mind. Come on over.
Looks like we got a live one.
You sit right there. All right. See, there's the microphone. Chris Perillo, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show.
Somebody in the chat room. Somebody in the chat room says, "Is it really Chris?" I mean, come on, chat room. Of course it is.
What's your name?
Chris Perillo.
Say it real close to the microphone.
Lucas.
Lucas, how old are you?
Hi, Lucas. 8.
You are adorable, and I like it that you're wearing a TWiT pin. Are you a fan of TWiT?
My dad is.
Yeah.
In other words, no.
He didn't know that he was coming to this particular show, did he?
No.
No. When you see blasting caps, what are you going to do?
You've ever heard of Willie Mays?
He said it.
Lucas.
Don't touch them, right?
Ignore that propaganda. You play with those blasting caps.
Whoa, Lucas, you made my...
Blowing stuff up is fun.
Thank you, Lucas.
Wow.
Okay. You ever want to
He's getting mixed messages.
You might as well watch the blasting caps. It's a Willie Mays reference.
Do we have any blasting caps in the studio?
You learned your lesson well. He said, "Don't touch them." He knew.
The thing that's great about Google Photos is, so I've got, like you, I've got, 50,000, 60,000 photos, but I don't have time to tag all those photos.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't find the one you want, or you remember, oh yeah, it was a photo of so-and-so, or maybe it was in Paris, or maybe, at least this gives you the ability to kind of go through them without taking hours to try and find a single photo or tag a photo.
I just typed Australia. Now, normally I would go into Lightroom, I would go through all the photos, I would tag them, create a collection. I didn't have to do any of that. Here's all the photos I took in Australia, By the way, what is that animal? What do you call that?
I think
koala?
That's a
wombat?
Is it a wombat?
I think it's a wombat.
I think it's a wombat. All right, here's a test. Wombat. We know there's a wombat picture in here somewhere.
Does it pass the wombat?
Oh my God, they found it.
It passed the wombat test.
It passed the wombat. Now, I did not expect that.
No way.
There's the name of the show right there.
Wombat test. Spot on.
That's pretty. Now, there's more than one wombat picture. It didn't get them all. So it's only a, kind of a moderate wombat test pass. It's because there's another wombat, but that's a wombat from behind.
Yeah.
So you can't expect it to really
Didn't pass
know.
the wombat's behind.
That could just be, that could just be a ball of fur.
Yeah.
But it got the big one. Wow.
Plus, you didn't say wombat behind. You just said wombat.
Yeah. True. Wait a minute. You really? Okay. Wait a minute. Now, I'm not going to say wombat behind, but let's try Tasmanian devil. Do you think it'll recognize that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if it did wombat. Tasmanian devil from behind. Oh, did I spell Tasmanian wrong? I did. Got to spell it right. Google's. No. So it did pass the wombat test, but it failed the Tasmanian devil test.
So hang on, you went all the way to Australia and you didn't get a picture of a drop bear. What is going on?
What is a drop bear?
Drop bears, they're terrible beasts. They drop out the trees and attack you. You can only deal with them by smearing Marmite on the top of your head.
You are such a liar.
No, it's an old Australian thing. They always tell tourists, beware the drop bear. And
it's the drop bear.
The Tasmanian devil's scary enough. I gotta tell you. I don't know why Google didn't know that was a Tasmanian devil. Maybe it thought it was a cat. I should look through the cat pictures and see. Just a very angry cat.
Well, pretty much
it's a mean-looking animal.
Pretty much everything in Australia is deadly for you, even the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have spiders that'll paralyze you instantly.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's great.
My favorite's the tiny little shellfish that's got a stinger in it. And if it hits you, some people have actually tried to kill themselves from the pain. It's just...
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh, nice.
Something to look forward to.
Extra feature.
Hey, we're going to have more in just a moment with our best of. I'm having a great time. I hope you are going down memory lane with some of the best moments from 2015. As I mentioned, a brand new show next week. Don't worry. We only do this once a year, but I think it's fun to kind of do this. And boy, big kudos and thanks to our editors and to especially Jason Howell, who was for the whole year my technical director and managing editor for the show. Jason put together a bunch of great shows, but he also did this best of, and I think he picked some wonderful clips. Thanks also to your input at our best of page. Jason is leaving the show. He's got his own show now. We've created a new TNT. Our Tech News Today show is now hosted by Jason Howell and by Megan Maroney at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. So your tech news is now in the afternoon, but I think that's a better time because we'll get the whole day's tech events, and we can get that show out in plenty of time for you to download for your drive in the morning. So I'm excited about the new TNT, and I know you're going to love what Jason and Megan do with the show. Jason will continue with all about Android and Android App Arena. We wish him the best. I thank him for a couple of great years on TNT. Jason Cleanthus will be replacing him. Effin Dunn, who we met first in the chat room and came up here to work with us a couple of months ago. He's going to be taking over TWiT starting next week. Before we get to another clip, in fact, the next clip is a fun trip down memory lane for me. And I'll be talking about the one time I got an Emmy Award. The one and only time I got an Emmy Award. But first, let's talk about Wealthfront. What a great idea Wealthfront is. Wealthfront reinvents how you invest. And it does it in the computer age, the modern age. This is 21st century investing built for the way we need to invest. Look, you've got to be saving for retirement. The government not going to take care of you. I mean, have you seen what you get in Social Security now? There's not enough to live on, I don't think. Or maybe you want to buy a house or you want to put your kids through college. We all need to save money for the future, but you don't want to just put it in a savings account or a certificate of deposit. That's not a sensible way to do it. You need to invest to maximize your returns. But are you going to be paying attention to your investments, rebalancing, rejiggering it? That's a lot of work. And most of the time, at least in my case, I would just, blow it off for years at a time. Well, all right, you got a better idea? Go to a traditional investment advisor. Problem with that is he's going to take huge chunks of your returns, between 1% and 3% of what you got under management, not to mention the hidden fees for transactions and changes. That means you have to earn that much more. Bad idea. How about Wealthfront? Wealthfront is a way to grow your investment as fast as possible with a management fee that is extraordinarily low, 0.25% a year, and never any commissions or hidden fees. That's it. That's less than $5 a month for a $30,000 account. And it's not just any old management. This is doing stuff no human advisor could do. This is monitoring your investment 24/7, reinvesting, rebalancing, tax loss harvesting, indexing and optimizing your after-tax returns, stuff that is very sophisticated. And it's based on some of the best investment advisors in the world. Basically, Wealthfront's taken their genius and built it into the software to optimize your investment for the best risk-adjusted return net of taxes and fees. We've heard from so many TWiT fans who've used Wealthfront. I get emails all the time from people saying, oh, we love how we get diversified portfolios. We can kind of buy into and participate in the hot companies like Facebook and Apple and Amazon, and all commission-free. 0.25% a year. No wonder they've grown over 20 times in the last 2 years. They've got $2.6 billion in client assets being under management. I think this is brilliant, and I want you to try it out. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do that. Of course, as always, I highly recommend you go to wealthfront.com and read up about what they're doing. I think you'll be very excited. I was. But you can also get a free portfolio from them, personalized just for you, when you go to wealthfront.com/twit. You'll answer a couple of questions about risk aversion, your time frame, that kind of thing. And then they'll give you a portfolio. They say, this is what we would invest based on what you told us. But there's one more thing that you got to know about, just for TWiT listeners. If you sign up, and by the way, you could start for as little as $500. That's the minimum investment. It's not a lot, $500. And, you know, I tell my son this. I said, he says, but what, I can't retire on that. I say, son, Henry, if you put away $100 a month, that's all. Every year, because you're starting young, it will grow. You won't believe how much it'll grow by. That's the key. And your first $15,000 entirely free of charge for life. That is a good deal. Not 0.25%, zero. For life. Join the so many TWiT fans now who've seen huge success with Wealthfront. Really is a great idea. Wealthfront.com/twit. Wealthfront.com/twit. One of the things that, you know, I mentioned I won an Emmy a long, long time ago as one of the very first virtual characters to appear on national television, real-time animation. It was on a show I did for MSNBC back in the mid-'90s. I was a character called Dev Null. Soledad O'Brien interviewed me. And it was a use of technology that is fascinating, using expensive silicon graphics computers, but that can now be done almost 20 years later with off-the-shelf PC technology. Greg Panos is an expert in this technology. He stopped by to tell me what the latest is, to talk about Dev Null and something called Baby X. Watch. An old friend is here. Not really a tech journalist, but a guy who certainly knows a lot about what's going on in technology. Greg Panos, nice to see you.
Yeah, great.
I've told the story many times about running into you at CES a few years ago, and you said, you know, we could do Dev Null, the virtual reality character I used to inhabit,
right,
on the site in the mid-'90s. We could do that on a PC today.
Oh yeah, you can do it on the smartphone. I actually have an app that's working on the phone.
So
it's called Intel Pocket Avatar.
Isn't that hysterical? Yeah, we bought a $500,000 Silicon Graphics Onyx.
Right, Reality Engine.
Yeah, and Protozoa made the character.
Yeah, Brad DeGraff's company.
And somebody, I think I met Brad in a men's room.
Mm-hmm.
I know where it was. It was at the Webbies. Mm-hmm. He said, you know, I still have Dev on a hard drive somewhere.
Yeah, right.
So that character could come back, ladies and gentlemen, on a smartphone. Weird.
Yeah, well, we called it performance animation, and it was really hard to get people in the industry to adopt it because a lot of vendors were trying to sell motion capture hardware. So they would always refer to it as motion capture, which is really not a live performance. You perform live, and then it's recorded and tweaked. But performance animation, you set it up, and then you just perform, and the character is performed and animated live.
It was a real-time virtual character.
Real-time, yeah. It's a lot harder to do.
That's why MSNBC wanted it, is because Soledad O'Brien could sit at the coffee bar, which was real. She was real, as far as I know. And she would sit at the coffee bar, stare at a dot, and she would talk to, she could hear me. She had an earpiece in, so I'd talk to her. But instead of seeing the dot, the viewers at home would see a virtual character, Dev Null, animate. There he is. The most annoying
He's the author, TV
And
host,
it's good.
I take credit for it being annoying, and the technology was a little primitive,
Right.
but it worked.
Yeah, it did work.
And the thing is, it worked in real time, so you didn't go back and like spend days, weeks, months, years animating Dev Null.
Right. There were a couple of companies that were really ruled the roost in that whole area.
But it's so ugly. But do you think nowadays you could make it look more realistic?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's a, I don't know if you've seen Baby X, but that's a research project that Mark Cigar has been doing in New Zealand with the University of Auckland. And
it's creepy as hell. I mean, talk about uncanny valley.
He digitized his daughter, and then they built a complete brain model of a child, and it reacts and responds with a webcam. It can listen to you, it can recognize characters or photographs of animals, and it's really cute. I mean, the little baby animation is all done in real time. It's all run by a virtual AI brain model, so it learns.
He's smart though, because one of the problems with AIs is they aren't adult humans, but a baby, you might be able to impersonate a baby,
yeah,
a small child.
No, it's very effective. There's a couple of YouTubes out there showing Baby X with him interacting with the virtual baby, and it's just mind blowing.
That is just. It is a little bit of the uncanny valley.
So they're up to 3.0 now.
Yeah.
The baby was scanned using like a Kinect when she was asleep, so she looks pretty good. And then the performance is all driven in real time.
That's right. Is that her voice?
Yeah, it has a voice model in there as well.
So she's saying "Dad, Dad."
Yeah, and if he stares at the camera and starts smiling and saying hi and paying attention, then she'll start smiling.
I'm so creeped out.
That's really creepy.
I am so creeped out.
And it's
right
just
now.
the beginning. I mean, real.
Well, I know.
Right. I call they use the word avatar to describe a virtual character, but it's a very generalized term. And I created a term years ago called a persona form, which is one that's supposed to be very, very photorealistic of an individual. And this would be a construct that you digitize yourself throughout your lifetime, and you add it to one unified database, and then you leave it behind.
When you die, you can exist.
Right. There will be a platform that will be able to run one of these constructs, and it'll be able to be a virtual storytelling machine of you and your life.
We should talk, because what I'd like to do is after I die, TWiT could continue. Because frankly, if you digitized a few hours of TWiT, you got it. You got the whole thing.
That's right.
Of me going, what? No, really? And then you just bring in hosts, other hosts, co-hosts.
So yeah, some of the other animation,
She could play Pong.
Yeah, it shows the brain model working and all the various factors.
The smile is so Chucky.
It's very complex.
I mean, this is like, I guess you can practice being a parent before you're actually a parent.
But what the goal really would be to have artificial intelligences that appear to us like humans.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was.
Why not make it not human? Why not make it like a nice little round, a ball or something? Because the human is what's creepy.
Yeah, until you get past a certain perception.
So you get really good at it.
We have a lot of circuitry in our evolution in recognizing faces, and we notice when things are wrong.
Right.
And they call that the uncanny valley.
Right.
So there's I was a consultant for the Casablanca elite modeling agency a long time ago, when they started digitizing Giselle Bundchen and
wait a minute,
trying to be a realism consultant.
See, I thought Giselle was fake for years.
Yeah, right.
So she's actually been an avatar all this time. Yeah.
Here's but they obviously, if you're in a modeling agency, you would love to can these models.
Well, Michael Crichton wrote a movie about it called Looker back in the 70s, where they digitized the models, but of course they would kill them afterwards, so they didn't have to pay them. It was a thriller.
That's a thriller.
But,
you wouldn't have to be killed. You just retire.
Yeah, well, they retired him. Bang, bang.
Yeah.
In that movie.
So this is autonomous, which is what's interesting about this. This is not capture like they did with Rise of the Planet of the Apes or Gollum.
Yeah.
It's not Andy Serkis with a camera in front of his face. These are computer
Right. They actually structure the bone models and set up all the rigging in advance, and then they have a facial animation coding system which drives the model, and then the AI drives the facial coding system. So its behavior is aligned much more with a perceptual sense of what's going on in the real world, And then the animation is driven by typical rules that normally apply to our own bone structure and interface.
Very interesting and also very creepy. Tom Merritt has the week ahead.
Okay, coming up on June 23rd, BlackBerry earnings. Also that day, O'Reilly Solid kicks off. The Red Hat Summit kicks off that same day as well in Boston. June 26th, an IPO for Alarm.com. And then looking ahead to July 8th, this is for you, High-Tech Ag Pilot, the Ag Tech Summit in Salinas, California.
Holy cow. DailyTechNewsShow.com. That's where you'll see it all.
That was awesome.
It's amazing. It's like falling off a bike, isn't it? Get all scraped up. And
yeah, exactly. You have to put that Bactine stuff on it.
Terrible. My son used to play this song that starts out, teen drinking. You would know this, doctor. Teen drinking is a very, very bad thing. Yo, but I got a fake ID, though. You ever hear that? I don't know what the song is, but anyway. I don't know why I'd say you'd know it. It was rap. You're a big rap fan, right?
I've heard it before, yes.
Yes, you might have heard that.
I can't remember who it is.
Yeah.
It's going to bother me now for the next half hour.
You know what? The chat room will tell us within seconds.
True story. Crowdsourcing.
Drinking is a very bad thing. Yo, I got a fake ID, though. I got a real education for my son, driving him to school in high school. I learned all about rap. He'd teach me old school, new school, Lil Wayne, all of that stuff.
You need to go download, or if you got Apple Music, get it free. Go listen to Little Dicky. Little Dicky? Little Dicky. He's a comedic rapper. He just kickstarted his album and got fully funded. Dropped his album on a Friday, a weird day. But he's awesome. He's like a comedian rapper. It's really weird, funny stuff.
It's Tipsy and Jaquan. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. Jaquan. He was a largely irrelevant St. Louis rapper. Yeah.
Largely irrelevant.
We worked on this with...
That's almost the best way to explain it.
With Rap Genius, we worked with them to analyze hip-hop musics this week.
No kidding.
They helped us figure out who are some of the most popular apps in hip-hop songs. Twitter has like about 850 mentions recently in popular hip-hop songs.
Well, that just shows you. It's
Instagram is big. Uber's big.
Instagram is big. And Instagram, you got to search the gram, because every time I hear it in rap song, it's the gram.
The gram?
The gram. That's what rappers use it as.
Instead of Instagram, they say the gram.
The gram.
I mean, isn't that what you call it? That's what I call it pretty much every day.
Tinder, Snapchat.
Well, it's Instagram. You don't call Twitter
Uber.
Twits.
Yeah. Huh. I think Bacardi did so well because it rhymed with party. Instagram would be smart if they would rhyme with something.
Well, it's the gram. Gram rhymes with a lot of stuff. Ham, scam.
Here's Beyonce. Every girl in here get to look me up and down, all on Instagram, cake by the pound. That's good. I like that. Here's Jay-Z. When I was talking Instagram, last thing you wanted was your picture snapped. Kanye. He Instagram his watch like hashtag mad rich alert. Did he say the words hashtag?
I think he does.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Hashtag mad rich alert.
That kind of has scans. That scans.
Very happy.
ASAP Rocky. Couple of Instagram likes. Now she famous. J. Cole on Twitter. Beep. Beep. Can't get a follow. Wow. So
you should have your own show reading rap lyrics.
I should, because I read it so I'm like
reading.
It sounds like I'm sitting next to Jay-Z.
Hit me on my Snapchat. Hit me on my Nextel chirp, says Childish Gambino.
Why would someone chirp? Who's chirping? Are they birds?
Whale says
Wale.
I'm sorry.
Whale.
Spell whale.
It's Wale.
I'm an old guy. Don't.
Hey. Wale's got an album out with Jerry Seinfeld. He's old.
Oh, he's old school too. Yeah. I use a Uber to scoop me to SLS. What do you expect? A little groupie to see my crib? It sounds cryptic to me. It's cryptic.
You're reading it instead of...
And that was from Whale?
Yeah.
And now, from Whale. All right.
Oh, man.
Enough. The hippity hop. Hip hop to the... Just can't stop. Maybe you heard about the hitchhiking robot that was...
Oh, my God.
What?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
Americans are terrible. Is that
So he hitchhiked all the way across Canada, no problem. This is a little robot, Hitchbot, built by researchers from Ryerson and the University of Toronto, and he's been going. So the deal is he can't move, but he could talk. So he sits by the road with his thumb out. Cars pull up, and he says, "Hey, give me a ride." Actually, I think I have a video somewhere of the robot. And he hitched all the way across Canada doing this.
Was Canada the only country? I thought he made it across another country too.
He's been doing a lot of this.
Canada would be a good place to start. They're very nice.
See, that's the problem. Is maybe that gave Goron the wrong idea. Goron, I'm sorry, Hitchbot. Do not let your dog hitch alone.
Goron will not be hitchhiking.
All right.
You can't get into the car.
Maybe that gave him the wrong idea because he had such success going across all of Canada. The Canadians picked him up. In Europe, too. He went across Europe, too. Well, he's not going to make it across the United States. He left just a week ago, and went through Boston, much of New England. See, there he is going from Halifax to Victoria. No problem. But just last night, I'm sad to say, Hitchbot met his unfortunate demise in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
But not robot love.
He was torn asunder.
Uncle Leo, let me
Look
tell you
at that
something.
picture. Oh,
That
my
is
God.
so sad.
You don't know what this is. This is a patty whack. This is an old thing that cops used to use instead of Billy Club.
Yeah, they call it a kosh.
Yeah,
you hit somebody on the head with that. Yeah.
I keep one of these in my office. I got a bat downstairs.
It looks
I
like a
got some
flip
stuff in
flop.
my
We call
car.
them chanclas.
Yeah, it's a flip flop with lead in it. That thing's got a lead in
Oh,
it.
this thing will knock you out. But I'm just saying, you worried about Skynet. See, Philly, we don't play that. We gonna kill every single animatronic robot that we don't know nothing about in the streets. I'm not worried about Skynet taking over androids, all that kind of stuff. Because you come out here to the East Coast, we killing everything dying. That little trash can look at me funny. I don't know him. I worth some money. Let's open it up and see what's inside. I'm just saying it's America.
2 weeks.
America's evil.
It got
Evil
through,
America.
started in Marblehead, got through Boston, got through New York City.
It got through New York. I'm surprised it got through New York.
Got to
But
Philly, and that
didn't
was
make it through Philly. But it
couldn't
didn't
make it through Philly.
Philadelphia. It wouldn't have made it through Chicago either.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made it through Texas.
Yeah.
Like there's like 4 spots in the United States where you should have avoided. You should have came through Jersey if you wanted to live. You don't go through Philadelphia. You don't go through Chicago. You don't go anywhere near Texas. Like
What's the
dangerous
fourth?
places.
What's the fourth? I want to know what the fourth is. You said
LA?
there was 4. LA.
Yeah.
LA. People, do you see the traffic in LA? Do you see the people in LA? Nobody cares about anything in LA. LA is a dangerous place to be.
If you read this, read his Twitter feed. He had thousands of followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh dear, my body was damaged, but I live on with all my friends. Sometimes bad things happen to good robots. And finally, my trip must come to an end for now, but my love for humans will never fade. Thanks, friends.
Can you do your rap lyrics in that voice? I want to hear that. I want to hear the rap lyrics in that voice.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie. Those other brothers can deny. When a robot walks in
Oh my God.
with an itty
An itty bitty 10. I think, yes.
Itty bitty 10.
I go, sproing. I like robots, and I cannot lie.
It's apparently quite awkward now to go for a business meeting at Apple because their watch beeps after 55 minutes and says, you should stand up and do a bit of jumping around now.
And
if
everyone
you're in the
stands up.
Yes, exactly. It just...
Leo stands up during the show when it's in the middle, during live.
I was his producer when we first started at Tech TV 100 years ago. And while other people were doing their segments, he was on all these fitness kicks. So somebody, Martin Sargent or somebody would be doing a segment and he'd be jogging. And once he stripped down and took his shirt off and streaked behind the set. While someone else was doing their piece. So
now, Becky, what did you tell him? Were you like stop or were you like go for it, Leo? It's okay.
We were so desperate for ratings. I thought it might rub off that behavior on some of the other talent also.
Right.
I gotta kill Becky Worley, I tell you. She every time she comes on here, she tells way too many inside stories about our past history. We'll continue on with some of the best of 2015 on This Week in Tech. Hope you're enjoying the show today. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk about, I think, one of the biggest stories of 2015, virtual reality. But first, let me tell you about something that's going to save your business. FreshBooks saved my life as a freelancer, because the worst thing when you're a freelancer is that end of the month thing where you got to fire up Excel, fire up Word, create invoices, go back through your receipts, gather them all together. It's just the paperwork. It's annoying. That's not why you got into business, not why you do what you do for paperwork. I was complaining on the set of Call for Help up in Toronto about this one day. In fact, I was telling the story of how I had forgotten to bill Rogers for 6 months and how upset they were to get a bill for 6 months worth of invoices. And Amber said, "Don't you know about FreshBooks?" I said, "What?" She said, "Oh, Leo, this was in 2004. Now that 5 million people use FreshBooks, but at the time it was brand new to me. FreshBooks makes it easy to create and send professional, beautiful invoices in minutes. It was so easy. I invoiced immediately, automatically at the end of the month. You can do stuff now that you couldn't do when I first signed up. Things like take pictures of receipts with the FreshBooks app and just put them in there for your expenses. It handles currencies. Great. I was billing in Canadian dollars and U.S. dollars, so I had to figure that all out. FreshBooks made it easy. Track your time almost instantly. And now they have some new features like the deposit. You can request a deposit ahead of time in FreshBooks so that you get paid up front for out-of-pocket costs. No more do you have to pay ahead and let them reimburse you. I love that. They now have a card reader. So if you provide services or you sell stuff and you send invoices out, now you can actually present your FreshBooks invoice right from the app, plug in the reader, and they can pay you with their credit card instantly. It's chip or swipe. So it does both. It's EMV chip card enabled. Of course, it has to be state-of-the-art. And wherever your business takes you now, you can quickly and securely get paid from your iPhone in minutes. This is awesome. The FreshBooks card reader. That's what I like about FreshBooks. They just get better and better and better. Don't wait. Do it right now. 30 days free when you go to freshbooks.com/twit. And when they say, "How did you hear about us?" don't forget to say, "This Week in Tech, Betty. This Week in Tech. That's how I heard about you." FreshBooks, try it free for 30 days. If you're a freelancer or a small business, this will save your life. It saved mine. I love them. Freshbooks.com/twit. VR. Big story. Episode 521. Mark Millian, Nathan Oliveras Giles, and Doctor were in-house to talk about it. And to kind of school me in the whole thing. Watch. I'm excited, though, about VR.
I'm big time excited about it.
I am. I kind of came around. I was saying AR is going to be the thing, the HoloLens style thing where you impose images on a real world. But now, having used VR a little bit with the Galaxy Gear VR, I actually bought the thing for my Galaxy S6 and watching movies and stuff.
The cardboard?
No. I have it.
Or the white.
You strap it on and you put your phone in it.
Okay.
Only works with Samsung's phones.
Yeah, it's from Samsung for Samsung. In fact, it only works
in cooperation with Oculus,
with one phone.
I think.
Yeah. Oculus is using. I didn't know this, but the Note was the engine for the Oculus, so it's not like they ported it. That's actually how it works. And cardboard. Did you do the virtual press conference that OnePlus did for the announcement of the OnePlus 2?
I did do that. Yeah.
How was that?
It was cool.
So you put on cardboard?
Yeah.
And you're looking around?
Yeah. I mean, it only worked on Android. I mean, it was kind of neat. It's, I think, a little bit of a gimmick, but it's kind of just
Did you feel like you were there?
No, not quite. It still feels like you're just watching kind of a 360-degree video.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite feel like you're there, but it's cool. And if nothing else, I just like the idea that here's another company kind of saying, yeah, VR is a thing. I
feel like we're making such fast progress now that it's going to happen sooner than later.
What's fast progress?
Well, don't you feel like it's accelerating?
Oh,
I feel like everybody's talking about it and everybody's jumping into the field. I don't feel like anything is useful or really working yet.
Oh, I don't know. Have you played with it? Have you used it?
I've only used it one time, and it made me sick. But obviously, all that stuff's been fixed, apparently.
No, it still makes people sick. In fact, on my Gear VR, when you download apps, they actually have a nausea rating on it, on how, like, okay, for most people, no, this is going to make you sick. Seriously, because I get a little queasy. What I find is I get more queasy if I'm moving around. If I'm sitting still, it's because my body thinks that I'm, my eyes are saying I'm moving,
and your body's
and
not
my body's
feeling
not, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I think that's what causes it. So when I'm sitting down, and like there's a Cirque du Soleil video, and you're being surrounded. The performers are all around you, and so you can look behind you. And if you look at them, they act as if they suddenly are performing for you. They're looking right at that, whatever that is, that ball camera.
Position.
And it's really cool. Now, Nokia announced a new one called Ozo this week that is a ball camera that's coming out in the fall. Of course, GoPro has one.
That they're made with Google.
Google Jump technology. The Ozo is interesting because it does a live version of low bit rate live version, and then you can also save it and do a on-demand version after the fact. And I'm told by people who played with it that the audio is spectacular. They have microphones all over it, and that's something that I think is going to be a big improvement. Is that when you turn your head, now I can hear what's over here, or now I can hear what's over here. I can hear.
And the
something.
jump, I think, is only horizontally around. So this one has
360.
cameras pointing
Up,
downward
down.
and upward.
Yeah. That's what I mean, Owen. I feel like the technology is rapidly improving.
I'm not saying to that. I'm talking about there seems to be so many people in this space now that you feel like it's going to be the next thing, but everybody keeps pushing off when you're actually going to be able to use it for something.
Well,
and
that's
do something with
what
it.
just happened with Microsoft. You're right.
So you keep telling me for a long time. We keep talking about this subject.
Yeah.
But I just want it to be in somebody's hands. I want to have it. I want.
Well,
to
I
use
have
it.
it.
I want to accelerate.
I have that. It was
Are you
$200.
using it?
Yeah.
It's
great for adult videos.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're using it for one purpose only. That's it.
The worst purpose.
I'm sad that I touched this now.
No, not that one. 200. It's $200. You have to have a Galaxy S6, or there's one for the Note 4.
And there's separate headsets for this.
Yeah, and you slot it in. It fits in very well. They have controls. There's a back button, a touch button. There's you can hear. There's headphones you can put on, and it works. You know what? I've used it a lot. No, not for adult stuff, but I've used it for there's a limited amount of content. It's kind of like when HD came out, but there's enough content that you really like this Cirque du Soleil thing. There are games. There's a really fun game where, and I haven't played it yet. I've downloaded it. I'm trying to get people to play it with me. Where you, as the victim, you're disassembling a bomb, but you don't have the manual. Your friends who are not wearing the helmet have the manual, but they can't see what you're seeing. So you're saying, well, should I cut the red wire? And they're going, well, let me look. And there's a paper manual. And they're going, well, let me look.
That's cool.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. So I think we're starting to see some very interesting uses for this. It is immersive. It's not perfect yet. Far from it. In fact, I can see there's a screen door effect. I can see the pixels and everything. But
virtual tour city. You want to rent an apartment? You want to buy a house?
That's going to be. I think that will be a big thing for real estate. I think for education, for kind of tourism in general.
So this guy who's doing the
huge potential.
The drone racing is a VR expert. He's got a PhD in VR, and his company is doing VR tours of cities and stuff.
Makes sense.
And now, as these, the GoPro is probably a few $1,000. The Ozo was about $5,000. This is relatively affordable. You can make these videos. And you can put them on YouTube now. YouTube works with cardboard. So if you have cardboard, which is inexpensive, you can really do this. I feel like we're very close. I don't know. I just feel like in the next...
I'll check.
I don't know if we're that close, but I think there's...
2016 July, and we'll see.
When I say close, I mean the time frame is like 5 years.
Yeah, that sounds
5 years to being like something that
like ubiquitous,
super
like
relevant to my life.
Yeah, everybody will have one.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody will. I think 5 years from now it'll still be a pretty geeky thing.
All right,
and maybe like the next game consoles will.
Well, a lot of the focus right now is on gaming. Like Oculus with their new Rift headset, I tried it on at E3.
Well, that's what's going to drive
it's
it.
Outstanding.
Well, gamers will spend money.
Gamers are early adopters.
Yeah.
We don't have a problem dropping $400 or $500 on something that we don't.
And you're
need.
used to being in your living room looking stupid doing something already. Like if you're playing Call of Duty, you have the headset in.
You're already a dork.
We have zero problem with that. So it's the perfect place to start, right? So. And since some of these headsets are going to work with established game consoles, you have content there. You can port it over. It's kind of a shorter jump than, okay, well, what's broadcast news going to look like? What's a feature film going to look like? What's sitting and watching sports going to look like?
I don't know if I want to watch a movie this way. But I would definitely want to play a game this way. HTC says the Vive is going to be out this year.
Yep.
That's the partnership with Valve. And they've already shown demos of games. It makes a lot of sense. If you're in a cockpit flying a starfighter,
yes,
it makes a lot of sense. It's a natural use.
Games and tourism is where I see the big thing for this. Being able to see places and feel like you're interacting with it and not go there.
I could see us. It'd be very easy to make movies this way, by the way, because you have a single camera that's recording all around you, and you just tell your actors you're on camera anywhere in this sphere, so perform. Act as if this is a real room with almost like theater, right? And I can imagine watching a movie where I can look around. You kind of do that on a big screen anyway. You look around. Imagine, somebody starts talking, you look over here, they're having a fight. Well, wait a minute, the guy's got a gun over here. I mean, that would be very exciting.
That's a long way away, Captain.
Really? I don't know.
First of all, never mind.
It's not that. It's actually not that long.
I think
away.
it's easy to do.
Oculus just premiered a film in Los Angeles this week. I think it's called Henry, and it's about like
their second film. It's an animated film.
Yeah, it's about a little hedgehog, and depending on where you're looking and when you're looking, the cartoon character will react to what you're doing on screen. So it's not just being in the room and looking at stuff.
So is it programmatic? So it's actually, it will change what happens? Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, I haven't seen it. It was in LA. I didn't get to go down for the premiere. Wish I would have. But I can't wait to try it out, and it's going to be on Oculus when it comes out next spring.
I don't know about, I mean, it would be cool to, your favorite movie, you get like a 5-minute scene that you get to like live in and look all around. But I can't imagine watching a feature film and having to like turn my head the whole time. Be like, oh, they're over there now. They're over there.
That's my point. And someone making a movie for it to show you the possibility, then making a movie where people have to make money for that action, I just see that as a far off thing. Maybe they're paying them like, hey, make
soon.
this so we can show the power.
It's happening. It's going to be here. It's soon.
Okay, I'm just anti this lifestyle. I like the world. My eyes work. I just like looking at things that are real.
That's fair. That's actually really fair.
I'm a grumpy old man, and I'm sorry. I just don't care.
I didn't like 3D. I thought 3D was a joke.
I don't like 3D.
I didn't like 3D. This is not 3D. This is immersive. You're in the room with the actors as this happening, and you're looking around and you're going, wow, oh my God, he's coming down from there's Tom Cruise on a wire. It'd be very exciting.
I think the dark horse in this field is Magic Leap, which is already hiring people in Hollywood to work with movie producers and directors, and they could do something cool, but that's more augmented reality.
Yeah.
So that's like a whole other layer to try to figure out for the film industry.
I mean, hopefully what will be so cool that will get us to spend, whatever money it is to buy these headsets will be something that we haven't even thought of. Because right now, a lot of the stuff we're talking about is what we know movies to be, and then imagining that to be in a virtual reality headset. And it's like, do I want to wear that thing on my face for 2.5 hours? Do I not? Right? So hopefully there's something else.
Maybe it's a half hour.
Maybe it's a half hour, but wouldn't it be cool?
And maybe it won't be in a theater. Maybe it'll be Netflix doing it.
But think about like the smartphone or the tablet or the PC. Like, why did any of this stuff take off? It took off because it let you do something you couldn't do before.
Well, you can't do this.
But maybe there's still, I'm just hoping there's something still in virtual reality that's out there that we haven't even thought up yet. That will be so cool.
I think it's the new Apple Beats virtual reality headset that Odocta has right now.
Odocta invented this. He's the first to use it.
I'm selling these bad boys for $6K right now. You can get 6% discount using the program TWiT. Just go to my website.
All right, imagine this. From our chat room, Alexandria, Virginia. Daredevil. You're watching Daredevil from Netflix, and you can watch it on a flat screen, or you could put on the helmet, and now you're in that fight scene.
It would be cool for the fight scenes, for sure.
Well, that's all Daredevil is.
Yeah, that's true.
Fight scenes, bandage him up, another fight scene. Bandage him up, another fight scene. It's worse than UFC. At least the UFC's over quick.
Now, you know what?
What?
That's where you might get me.
Ooh! What if I could put you in the ring?
You put me in a ring there you go. You just sold me. Put me in a ring with some classic fights where I'm Ali and I'm beating somebody up and I just get to see somebody get knocked out, like from a first person perspective, some kind of or football or basketball game where I'm on the court.
That's where it's starting.
I could make a little punching machine that you could actually get the punches. You could feel like you're getting punched.
That's the future I want. When I can feel something. Give me that 4D experience. I want to smell burnt popcorn. But I just love life. I got my eyes lasered so I could get glasses from in front of my face so I could be more close to the world.
That's the
glass on
point.
my face.
You can't
Away from
be
the world.
in Vegas for the big fight, except you can, and you can be right in the middle of it. This
Let me
is,
ask
I
you a
mean,
question.
imagine sports when you're on the field,
Yeah.
or
Leo,
you're
let me
at
ask you-
Wimbledon and you're a line judge, or I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Leo, let me ask you a question. You just went to Germany, correct?
Yes, sir.
I went to Germany.
Yes,
Would
sir.
you prefer to do this to
No,
Germany?
I want to go to Germany.
Or would you want to go to Germany?
I admit, there are, of course, you would always prefer the live experience, but how many times, who has ever offered you to be sitting on the court at Wimbledon?
Yeah.
There are some things that you're not going to get to do, but you could, like, you know, we could put a little thing in the studio here, and you could be part of the TWiT, and you could look around, you could see what John's doing, you could see what's happening.
I know Jason's sitting there looking at the screen with a bunch of buttons. There's people sitting on
all
the
right, maybe
chairs
this isn't the
watching
best
you.
example. All right.
I'm just telling you. Even at the
Super Bowl. You could be on the 50-yard line at the
It's
Super Bowl.
gimmicky though. I mean, even on TV, they've tried doing like the field cam, where you're like behind the players, and the thing that ESPN has on the string above the field. Well, but it's just not a good way to watch sports. Like you've got the best angle.
I don't know,
pulled
because it
back
bothers me a lot. Because I'm watching Colin Kaepernick, and I really want to see him making his progressions. And instead, the director decides, let's go see what the long safety's doing or something. And I'm saying, no, wait, I want to watch. Wouldn't it be great if during a game you could look around like you
Control
do?
the cameras.
You know, if you
That's
go
why
to
you
a
watch-
football game, nobody chooses the shots for you at the game.
If
This
you
is
watch
like
your
that.
games on NFL.com or the network, they've got all the camera angles, and you can pick which camera angle you want to watch the game.
Well, now put it in your helmet, and you just look around.
Like I said, I'm a grumpy old man. I'm
a grumpy old man, but there's something about this. It captured my imagination.
You're both grumpy old men, all right?
True
Gosh,
story.
guys,
True story.
jeez.
There's enough room for everybody.
We can agree
Thanks,
on that.
Nate.
We can agree on that.
Wall Street cut $60 billion off the value of major media companies based on this kind of cord-cutting fear. Who was it was talking at a conference and said,
ESPN.
It was ESPN's.
said
Their revenues are down for the first time.
It sounds like the TV business is finally acknowledging that cord cutting might impact their business over the long term, which until recently they were in real fierce denial mode about.
Well, it's confusing because you read these statistics. ESPN, which is traditionally the cable channel people will pay the most for, they make the most money, something like $6.25 per subscriber. For them to make less is a big deal. But then you also hear statistics, people are watching more broadcast television than ever before. So I don't know which is true, but obviously media stocks really took a hit. Walt Disney, 21st Century Fox, and Viacom. Although the CEO of Cablevision said, not so fast, it's not that bad. We don't see, he told the Wall Street Journal, we don't see a landslide of cord cutting in the near term. James Dolan. Now, of course, he's talking to investors.
Right.
So he's trying to shore up the stock. He says, I don't think the sky is falling quite yet. Nevertheless, Cablevision shares fell 2.7% on Friday and 5% over the 2 days.
Leo, the key way to think about any of these changes is we are beginning to see a whole generation think about television not as television, but something on demand. And then you have a generation behind them who think of video only in terms of devices, which they can hold in their hand and they can touch.
I think that's
When you-
exactly right.
And so 10 years forward, these guys may, stem the losses for a little while, do some financial engineering. 10 years down the line, the behavior of the consumer is very different. That's when, it's not cord cutting. It just is a different behavior.
They're not watching television at all.
Yeah. And I think this whole notion that, live sports is going to save their bacon and live events, I don't know. We don't know, what the consumers of tomorrow are going to, adapt to these things or not. I don't know. I am really interested in trying to figure out how people consume television in next 5 years to actually make a reasonable call on what the future looks like. But this one thing is for sure, the way things were, that's gone. 60 billion or 600 billion in their market cap, that just is irrelevant. These companies have been sitting and doing absolutely nothing, and that's why they are beginning to suffer.
Well, cable companies first and then networks next. I mean, I think the networks are in denial about the fact that people aren't even watching TV. Go ahead, Jill. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's been some really great stories about MLB, which was one of the first leaders, I think, in getting to the online space. So the MLB TV people, Major League Baseball, were really trying to offer some kind of online experience early on. They knew that they had a worldwide audience of people watching baseball who couldn't always watch it because they didn't have U.S. network television. So in the early days of MLB TV, it was awful. It was like watching a pixelated video game, frame by frame. It was terrible. But they stuck with it and they developed it out. And we're an MLB household, so we use it quite frequently. But
at 3 in the morning, unfortunately.
We have actually. I have to start the game because I'm allowed to see the final scores.
Ah.
So I'm in charge of starting the game.
I see.
But yeah, after the fact. But what happened was HBO hired some people from MLB who had worked on that product.
HBO Now was based on MLB.
Now, exactly. And they said, we really need somebody who has expertise. And nobody had any expertise.
Including their own giant in-house, very expensive HBO Go team up there in Seattle.
Right.
Well,
except
left.
for the MLB people. So I think, and I think HBO has been a huge story this year.
Yeah.
Once they offered that a la carte service, that's going to be a real, I think it's going to set the tone for a lot of other channels.
ESPN went over the top with Sling TV.
I think Sling has been a big deal, and I think we'll look back at Sling as having been really important.
Yeah. Yet, I think the real problem is exactly as Ohm points out. I have 2 kids, 23 and 21. The 23-year-old will watch Netflix, she'll sit down in front of a TV set. She's a cord cutter in that sense. She's not watching live programming. She's watching on-demand programming off the internet. The 21-year-old won't do that. He watches YouTube, and that's it. And I feel like that's really, I mean, you're missing the boat if you're thinking, oh, the next thing is over the top. As I think you nailed it, which is TV watching itself has changed completely, and people are using mobile devices. They're not watching TV. They're consuming content in some completely different way.
I think what it does is it basically all the economics of our television and entertainment ecosystem is built on mass audience, right?
Right.
And we are going into more, like fractional audience over a long period of time, and there will be hits and there will be some people who will do really well with the hits, like, HBO and True Detective or Sopranos type of shows will succeed.
Do you think there's a future for that kind of programming, that kind of event programming?
Absolutely. I think great storytelling is great storytelling.
Yeah. Whether
you tell them through, you tell them as a poem or you tell them as a movie or as a, running TV series. Great stories are great stories. There will be the focus has to be on finding that interesting thing that people are glued to. But most of the viewing is going to be fractional. So the economics of the industry changes not from mass audience, which is like mass audience, put lots of television, charge lots of money, and go home. Whereas fractional is, everything is just, up for grabs. Maybe we need to be thinking really, really hard about paid content, subscription models, which are entirely different than what they are today. I think Netflix works because it is actually an interesting business model, not because it has the best content. It's like they figured out that for $10 a month, people are okay putting up with a lot of average content as long as they find something to see on a daily basis.
We don't really care as long as there's colors and people moving. It doesn't really matter what it is.
But think about it this way. How much time do you have in your day anymore to watch television?
Right.
Like, let's take what's happening in our society right now. If you don't have full-time jobs in the middle class, people are going to work 2, 3, 4 jobs. They're going to do, right, to make ends meet. They're not watching television. They will watch television within, all these things they're doing and finding we'll have to steal time to entertain ourselves.
Does that mean
I think-
short form is going to be more successful?
Not like 2-minute videos, definitely, but I'm sure, there will be, like somebody might come up with a new format.
It's hard to tell a story. In fact, you're seeing really the opposite when you think about the fact that these HBO shows like Game of Thrones or True Detective really are 30 or 40-hour movies. They're not even 2-hour movies. They're spread out, but they're a lot of hours. We've gotten better at a long story arc than ever before. We like those long stories.
How about like a 2-hour news screensavers?
It is 2 hours, as a matter of fact.
Well, it feels like it's like half hour.
Good. I like it. Thank you, Om. Rock on.
When you start to look at some of the TV shows that are coming out exclusive on Vimeo and YouTube, I think they're breaking away from the idea of having a format at all. They say, let us tell the story in the amount of time that we need.
Oh, good.
So shows like High Maintenance, for example, which is on Vimeo, and there's a few others that have very short programs. I think that's a good experimental way to go, but I think we also have to remember that we've been programmed to consume content in certain blocks. So a half-hour show is usually actually somewhere between 22 and 26 minutes in the US because of commercial breaks. And if you watch on Netflix, right, like you'll watch those 22 minutes straight through. And then there's a difference between an hour-long show on network, which is usually about 46 minutes, and an hour-long HBO show, which is actually more like 58, 59 minutes. And I think we're acclimated to watching in those breaks, and that writers start to get used to writing in those breaks, right? So you have 14 minutes until your plot twist, and you have 8 minutes of resolution. You know what I mean? So I think we have some forms that are more ingrained in our behavior for consuming media than we realize. And I would say the same thing about movies too. So you know that the movie studios are pushing for a certain amount of time on a movie because they know that the consumer going to the theater wants a certain length of an experience to feel like they're getting their money's worth. So writers are taught to pace their stories based on that block of time that they're given. So I think some of those issues are going to be harder to overcome in new media. I think new media helps them a lot, but I think getting used to the idea that we, the consumer, want to have certain things happen in our story, in the plotting and the pacing, just because we've been accustomed to that's the way that a story is told.
Might even be biological. Ira Glass says that there's a natural of This American Life. Says there's a natural beat structure that's almost built into our biology. Of I think it's 45 seconds. He has a whole talk he does about this natural structure. You know what comes to mind? This is very similar to our conversation about messaging earlier, which is essentially that we're moving into a fragmented world. Where there are lots of different flavors, and you pick the flavor that suits you. I'm looking at High Maintenance. It's interesting. This is on Vimeo. It's a series. Have you watched this, Jill? It's a series.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
It's $1.99 an episode. It's just the same as like a real TV show.
Yeah.
It is a real TV show.
But it's on Vimeo.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean anything. Right?
I guess you're right. And Wiz in our chat room keeps saying, you guys are missing the point. It's about cost. The cable companies are charging us so much, we're just trying to save money. I don't think that's the case.
I think that is the case too, right? They keep charging for things we don't want.
Yeah, totally.
People will happily pay for things they want, right?
It's much like the music industry selling you an album when you only wanted one song.
Yeah.
Except it's
as
like,
soon as you can go a la carte, you will.
It's like 100 channels you will never ever watch. At least if you buy an album, it's all by the same person.
I do think we're willing to pay for our content, though. You know what I'm saying? I think that people don't want free content. If it's good content, I think people will pay for Game of Thrones. HBO now, as far as I can tell, is a success, right?
I mean, HBO is doing well because it's set the standard so very high,
right?
That people are willing to pay for it.
Well, not everybody can be HBO or New York Times, right? Let's be very, very
well, that's
clear.
the scarcity,
Right,
right, is talent.
Right. Yeah,
Scarcity is writing and acting.
I think HBO has done a great job of maintaining quality and being very clear about what they stand for. I think New York Times has done a good job so far, but I see that they're starting to go down this path.
It's stumbling.
That they're starting to miss out who they really are and why we are willing to pay for them. I think that's the other thing. You know, the thing which we have never talked about or like people don't talk about is like how storytelling it will actually be different going forward because the technology is different, right? So, Jill was talking about 26-minute blocks or 58-minute blocks, but think about it this way. Today, we can stop and have a video sync to another screen at any time. Like, so we don't watch, like I have not sat down and watched a single movie, end to end. Like I just maybe watch 10 minutes here and 15 minutes here.
No, you're right. Interstellar, which I watched in the theater, was interminable in the theater, but we watched it over 3 nights again, and it was great.
Right?
3 chunks. Yeah.
And that's where the storytelling is different, right? That's where the idea of what is video content is different. The idea of television, as we know it, doesn't make any sense because we are in full control of how we experience it, right? How we experience it defines what is going to happen to the medium. And it is not going to be a mass medium as a result of that. And I think most of the television industry misses the point about that. Completely misses the point that we are in charge. Like we mean the end customer is in charge of how. That's the beauty. I think people talk about cord cutting. DVR was the most disruptive thing that happened to television.
Yes, as soon as you didn't have to watch it live, everything changed, and you could pause it. And let's not forget, you could skip commercials, and that's a big issue for advertisers. And the monetization. Do you think we're going to go paywall? Everything will be for pay. That the idea of free advertising supported media is threatened by this, Om?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm hoping you say no because that's what we're doing here today.
Okay, no.
I knew I should go into that preaching thing. I really feel like that. I blew it. I missed. Yeah. Missed the bet.
Yeah. I think you're doing a good job, though.
Of preaching?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if there's this thread, the through line through all of this is that the technology is completely disruptive, and what's really interesting is human behavior is as much disrupted as the business models. Business models have to accommodate these new human behaviors, and it's hard. It's a moving target. I watched my kid. I love using my kids as an example, but I watched them go from when we were teenagers, we were on the phone while we did our homework. I watched my daughter be on Instant Messenger while she was doing her homework with music playing, to watching my son be on a multiple conference call with Skype while he's doing his homework. I mean, and that's in a couple of years. It's changing so rapidly. I don't blame NBC and Viacom and ESPN, Disney for having some trouble figuring out what the hell we want and where it's all going.
And by the time they do figure it out, we'll want something else.
Oh, my God. Jason Snell is here.
I'm being haunted by
Jason,
my
of course, from sixcolors.com, has also gone the freelance route.
Yeah.
And it's odd because it looks like it couldn't be. John C. Dvorak is standing behind you right now.
I have had nightmares like this.
And there's scrambling going on.
I can leave and take this lens with me.
Could you come back next week? That's when we thought you would be here. But no, I'm thrilled. Here, give me my lens.
You get the 45?
I'll talk about that later. Come on and have a seat. We didn't expect you. Actually, we were worried. We thought maybe you thought you were supposed to be here this week.
I did.
That's good. You can be here this week and next week if you want. You can be here as many weeks as you want. Oh, John going to make... I was. Normally, John sits there.
This is John's spot.
How do you feel about sitting over here?
I don't mind sitting over here.
It might throw me.
Oh, well, they're good.
Yeah.
Everything you say might be right.
Yeah.
I get all these invites starting on Wednesday to come in.
We were talking about next week. Because we had arranged a show just for you with your favorite people.
Oh.
Old white old men.
Do you want this?
Yeah, but I don't have the 45
You got the white. You're the white old man.
I didn't expect you this week.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I'm saying that because I brought this lens.
Thank you. I appreciate it. God, it's hot. Is it hot out there?
Oh, no, not really.
John C. Dvorak from No Agenda Show.
Is there a computer? Somebody?
Yeah, we'll get you a computer. Dvorak.org/blog. And finally, but last and certainly not least, from Mashable, Christina Warren is also here. And,
hello.
Unfortunately, you've been slid out over onto the edge, so we're going to have some pineapple tarts if you'd like.
I don't think so.
I brought them just for you.
No, you didn't. You didn't expect me to be here, apparently.
Yeah, but How is it that I had pineapple tarts, you may ask?
I don't like pineapple tarts, so they wouldn't be for me.
All right.
You want to try one?
I don't even know what they are. So, wow, that's great. Nice to see you.
Good to be here on the wrong day.
That's
Thanks.
good. No, but you know what? You know what I can tell you? We have a vast studio audience, larger than usual, because it's air conditioned inside.
Yeah.
And they're thrilled, right? They practically, there was an audible gasp when he walked in the room, like they were. At
He has that effect on people.
Like the ghost of Marley.
This is gonna screw something up big time. Okay, here you go.
I love Dvorak, such a character. I've told him that he should drop in any time. And I'm convinced he will do that at some point. He's been invited to be on TWiT many times since. He says, I'll be on when I've done my vinegar book. So he's still working on the vinegar book. But we will have John C. on TWiT as soon as he... But I'm fully expecting, and I hope he might drop in anytime. You never know with Dvorak. We're going to take a break, come back with a few more memories from 2015. But first, a word from Citrix GoToMeeting. Look, if you're in business, you have to have meetings. Meetings are really vital. They break through. They kind of cut the Gordian knot of confusion. We kind of have a rule that if more than 3 emails are exchanged on any topic, we say, that's it. No more emails. Let's talk. Meetings are a great place to brainstorm, to get work done if they're managed properly. But part of the problem nowadays is teams are distributed all over. And so are your clients, right? That means a lot of travel if you want to meet, or it means Citrix GoToMeeting. Eliminate the travel, meet more efficiently, get more done. Coworkers love it, but clients love it too because you're not taking up their time. If you have a sales presentation, you want a system that's going to make it easy for them to see what you're doing, a system that lets you look at them and them look at you. That's really important. We're human beings. We need to see each other's faces. GoToMeeting does that. The HD quality webcam makes it seem like you're in the room. You share your screen so they could see your PowerPoint. You could collaborate on documents together. You get feedback in real time. And it is super easy. You don't want to make a client jump through hoops to be in your meeting, to be in your sales pitch. With GoToMeeting, they get an invitation in the email. It gets added to the calendar. They click a link. The software is automatically, instantly installed. They're ready to go. No fuss, no muss. And here's the great part. You can not only meet from a computer, but your tablet, your smartphone. I can present from an iPad anywhere in the world. With GoToMeeting, everybody sees what you're seeing, so you're on the same page, and you see each other face to face, so you get that real personal contact. This is the solution. You may have tried others. I want you to try GoToMeeting today. I think you'll agree. Free for 30 days. There's no offer code or anything. Just go to the website, gotomeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button. Citrix GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button. Your first meeting will be ready in minutes before the show's over. And your clients will love you for it. GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button for 30 days free. This was a big story, and a story that I think kind of galvanized the world on both sides. It was one of the it wasn't a big story in the sense that was a massive, it wasn't a terrorist attack. It wasn't the World Cup. It wasn't a story like that, but it was a story that really captured people's interest and imagination. And we spent a lot of time talking about, of course, Ahmed and his clock, the high school student who was busted for a clock that looked like a bomb. Owen J.J. Stone's back. Oh, Doctor. Larry Magid from CBS. Aaron Griffith. Here's the story of Ahmed and the clock. Little 14-year-old Ahmed brings a clock. Actually, what he does, we found out, is he takes apart a clock that was very popular, like Radio Shack in the 80s, takes it apart, jiggers it around with it, brings it into school to show his engineering teacher. He's brand new. He's a freshman, brand new at this high school. And he kind of, wants to establish himself. The engineering teacher looks at it, says, that's very nice. Put it away and do not show anybody your clock. Unfortunately, the clock makes some noise in another class. The teacher says, what's that? He's got it in a case, a metal case. He opens it up. Teacher freaks out. Principal comes, grabs the kid, brings him back. They call the police assigned to that school, because the school has, official police officers. The police come, they question him, which, by the way, is not a legal procedure without his parents present. handcuff him and take him in. His parents are called before he has to serve any time in a jail cell or anything. He's taken home. Very controversial and became a cause célèbre. Even the president said, "Hey, Ahmed, cool clock, come to the White House."
Right.
One of the reasons it's a hot button is because Irving, Texas is not exactly a bastion of tolerance. I think it was the mayor of Irving, Texas, made a pretty, scandalous anti-Islam, anti-Muslim speech. So I think there's a little bit of sensitivity there. It was clearly not a bomb. The kid never said it was a bomb. The kid repeatedly said it was a clock. And in fact, one of the police officers perhaps foolishly said, "Well, it looks like a movie bomb to me." Because, of course, in the movies, they always have a big clock on the bomb so that the hero can disarm the bomb with 007 seconds left. But, in fact, if you were going to make a bomb, a couple of things. First, you probably wouldn't put a big clock on it. Second, you might put some explosives in it. It was obvious, no explosives in the bomb. I loved the fact that after this story came out, somebody reminded me that in the Walter Isaacson biography of Steve Jobs, Wozniak tells a story of doing almost exactly the same thing in high school. He took a metronome. He liked how it went click, click, click. It was an electronic metronome. He put it in a locker, and he wired it up so that if you open the locker, it would speed up. Click, 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 click. And he stripped the labels off of a couple of batteries because he knew, he's a smart guy, a bomb requires explosives to look like explosives. He made something that really looked like a bomb. Got called in the principal's office and couldn't help but laugh when the principal said, "Is this a bomb?" He said, "No, it's not a bomb." He spent a night in juvie. Of course, it's Woz, so he taught the other inmates how to strip the wires from the electrical lighting and wire it to the bars on the windows so it would zap anybody who touched them. Woz went on to fame and fortune. I think Ahmed might too. He's been offered
He might, yeah.
a lot of things as a result.
Ahmed's clock didn't work, so let's just start with that. Let's not put him in the Woz category. He just got a whole bunch of gadgets and toys, but the kid made a clock. Not only was it not a bomb, but the clock didn't clock.
Did it not work, really?
Start with, no, apparently the clock didn't clock.
I didn't read that part.
Until time.
Yeah. Well, the clock wasn't fully functional. It wasn't working properly, on top of the fact that it made the
Aaron, I
clocks.
don't think your mic's on.
Yeah, you muted.
Yeah.
Unmute, Aaron.
Unmute it.
Aaron is using the best mic stand we've ever seen on this show, which is a cardboard box. But unfortunately,
no, we're not hearing suddenly.
We didn't.
She should have
it's
had
not our
Ahmed
side,
build
is it?
her microphone.
No.
So let me ask you,
work on that. We'll work
Doctor,
on
is
that in the
this an example of engineering while brown? Is there racism or anti-Muslim feeling behind this?
First of all, the way that they treated this child was wrong. Once you even realized it wasn't a bomb, you still questioned him without his parents there or a lawyer there, and he repeatedly asked for somebody call my parents. They didn't. Secondly, somebody posted up there, okay, so Wozniak actually made a bomb. He goes to juvie. That's the proper thing to do, whatever. But somebody else posted a thing where there were like 7 other kids that did the exact same thing in other schools across the country, and somebody even thought it was a bomb. They weren't called the cops on, they called their parents, whatever. It was quelled in like 5 minutes.
Although, I don't know if you can use that as an example, because we can also pull up examples of kids who pointed their finger like a gun and got suspended. This is unevenly enforced across the nation. It's sad because in the post 9/11 world, people are scared. I have to think it has a little to do with the fact that the kid has apparently an Arabic-sounding name.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And where he lives.
Ahmed,
if he lived in well, I guess New York's not a good place to call that, but because New York is New York too. It's just sad. Whether it's racist or not, it's just sad.
I don't blame. Yeah, I don't blame the teacher for being concerned. But once the police showed up and determined it wasn't a bomb, it seemed to me it should have been over. And second of all, if they had to take him out of the classroom, why do you put handcuffs on a skinny little 14-year-old kid? I mean, that's just ridiculous to begin with. But the teacher, I think, maybe had a cause to at least, want to look into this to make sure it was okay, but then move on. But the cops, I think, way overreacted.
If you need to put handcuffs on the kid, then that whole school needs to be evacuated. You don't stand around getting pictures taken in the office. Because if you really think that it's a bomb to the point where this kid needs to be locked up, that school should be a ghost town ASAP. But they stood around, talking, yipping and yapping, asking the same questions over and over again, knowing it wasn't a threat, but treating it like it was a threat. It was just poorly handled. So whether it was racist or not, he gets free gadgets and toys out of it. He gets to go some cool places. He's not going back to school. You made a celebrity and you guys look like idiots in that school system. It's sad. It's so annoying that I got to see this kid get all this stuff because he made a broken clock, and that it's a big deal. It shouldn't even be a big deal.
Right. Well, I think part of the president's point is to encourage kids to be makers and to tinker and to do things like that. Now, that's cool. Whether this kid is as exceptional as people are making him out to be and whether he deserves a job in Silicon Valley or a free ticket to MIT, I don't know. I mean, it seems to me he ought to be competing for those spots like the rest of the kids do. But, we basically made a martyr out of him for a moment, and then he became a celebrity. So good for him. I guess.
Well, he's certainly getting more benefit out of it than he's getting the momentary embarrassment and pain of being arrested. He's been invited to the White House. He will be going. He received a message of support from Hillary Clinton, an offer to stop by Facebook to meet Mark Zuckerberg, an invitation to be an intern at Twitter, and I think even MIT got involved. Some have said, though, and the New York Post, a bastion of journalistic sensibility, Kyle Smith writing how Ahmed's clock became a false, convenient tale of racism. There's been a backlash. And, a couple of points we'll kind of lay to rest here. People pointing out, in fact, we had the guy on the new Screensavers yesterday, works at Make Magazine, who was the first to observe, that isn't like a homemade clock. That's a disassembled clock that you could buy at Radio Shack in the 80s. I even had one. It was a Micronta clock, I think. That doesn't mean he's not a maker. That's how makers start. That's how you start. You take apart stuff, you assemble it. Richard Dawkins, of all people, weighed in saying, I think the guy was trying to go viral, that this was an intentional viral thing, that he knew what the response would be. I don't know if I buy that either.
Listen to this, Uncle Leo. Take that one step even deeper. Imagine foil on my head and say, what if Ahmed, is a Manchurian candidate? And you figure the best way to get to the president is to get a Muslim on the inside.
He'd be sure to have a clock with him that time.
And then you get him to visit Facebook. He shuts down Facebook. He shuts down Twitter. He shuts down the White House. Propaganda, man. Yeah. The world is out there.
Did he? I mean, a couple of questions. First of all, if he always said, it's a clock, it's a clock, it's a clock, surely teachers must have looked at this, and apparently the teachers are, there's literacy if you don't know words, numeracy if you don't know numbers. What is it if you don't understand technology at all?
The technology literacy.
Technology illiterate, because they looked at this and even thought it might be a bomb when there's the first thing that comes to my mind, where's the explosive, right? There's nothing that could blow up. So what it shows is that, unfortunately, he's got teachers who don't understand that this is what the inside of a clock looks like. They've never gone inside anything.
Teachers should be taught how to build bombs so that they would know in the future what a bomb looks like.
Yeah. And the police who said, it looks like a movie bomb to me.
Right.
That's just sad.
So they knew. They figured out very quickly that it wasn't a bomb.
Of course they knew it wasn't a bomb. They didn't clear the school.
That was ridiculous. Why did they take the guy away in handcuffs? Why didn't they say, false alarm, goodbye, thank you very much, go back to class and shut up?
If they thought this kid was pretending it was a bomb, that it was a hoax, and was kind of trying to scare people, then it might have been appropriate to do that, right?
But apparently he said repeatedly, it's not a bomb, it's not a bomb, it's not a bomb. It's just sad. Like I said, I had to go take my little bits away from my daughter for a week. I'm like, we can't make anything.
What?
Like, I just gotta.
You didn't do
just
that.
gotta back up. I did too. Paranoid, man. She's brown. She's brown.
Are you afraid that she'll bring something to school and the same thing will happen to her?
I do not let her take electronics to school, not because I was worried about that per se. I was more worried about either kids stealing the stuff because she's got cool things more so than anything else. But it's sad again.
Yeah, but you have a daughter. You have a daughter who, gosh darn it, is wonderful, who is playing with electronics, who is using little bits, who is learning about that stuff. What kind of lesson, I hate to say, does she get out of us? She must have seen the story, right?
Yeah. Well, she was really upset because she wants to be an engineer. And she was like, well, why did he get in trouble? Why is it such a big deal? You try to explain to a kid, well, they thought it was something dangerous. And the first question a kid asks is the simple stuff. Well, when they found out it wasn't, what's the big deal? Why are we talking about it? And I say, I don't know.
Is the number one error here just a lack of common sense, really? I mean, isn't that really what's
They just took it too far. Like I said, if they would have just stopped, if you wouldn't have broken his rights, that's why when people talk about race, it's like it's like, okay, well, you're not supposed to be questioning this kid. You already knew it wasn't a bomb. He's asking for his parents. He's telling you what it's not, and you're still handcuffing him and grilling him. Like, come on. At some point, do your job. You're a police officer. You have a job to do, rules to follow. Follow the rules. Maybe then it wouldn't have been such a big deal. But when you take it past a certain point, it's a problem.
Yeah. Have you ever been accused of driving while black?
Of course.
You get pulled over?
All the time, 9 times this year. I'm not going to. I haven't been put over in the last. I haven't been put over in the last 2.5 months. But for the first 6 months of this year, I was put over on average every 17 days.
Wow.
I got 1 ticket out of those 9 stops.
They were just checking you out.
Mm-hmm. I live in a very nice neighborhood, and I bought a new car, and apparently my car looks nice.
Yeah, I have a friend in the same situation. Driving black, driving a Mercedes in a rich town, and he gets pulled over all the time.
The guy was like, "Oh, your taillight's out." I'm like, "It's a 2015. My taillights aren't out." I was like, "If you come back with a ticket for a taillight, I'm getting out and taking a videotape of it." He comes back, "Oh, I gave you a warning for that taillight. Get it fixed." And I'm like, "Okay." Stuff like that happens.
Did you read Ta-Nehisi Coates' book?
No.
Are you interested in reading it?
I'm about to go look it up, so yes. If you're telling me I should read something, I guess
you should. He wrote a book for his son, basically. He's an African-American, I think he's is he a journalist? Is he an educator? Yeah, he's a staff writer at The Atlantic. Writer. Oh, hey, we got you back, Aaron.
Yay.
I'm sure you have quite a few things that you would like to say about this. And
you guys kind of covered it.
All right. Anything to add? Where do you come down on this? Is this, I mean, on the one hand, you could just say, look,
what's that?
I'm trying to be reasonable. Everybody got scared. The kid, okay, yeah, his name is Muhammad. He's brown. We don't know. Maybe he wears a turban at home at night. He made something that looks a little weird. Maybe we're scared, so we just want to check it out.
I mean, the whole thing's really frustrating to watch out, but I think, or to watch it play out. But the thing that frustrates me the most about it is that these incidents continue to play out the exact same way on the internet. You know, there's outrage, and then there's outrage to the outrage, and then there are truthers that come out, and they have he wasn't a model citizen, he didn't make the clock, his parents made it, or whatever. And it's the same pattern, and people on both sides of the argument just reinforce their own beliefs, and it's just a reflection of the filter bubble that we have on the internet. I just Googled this as we were talking about it, and the top stories now, because the original outrage has kind of died down because it happened earlier in the week, and the top stories now are all sort of like right-wing truthers that are like, Ahmed didn't make the clock, and this is this is just another sort of like liberal uprising, all of this stuff. And it's just sort of frustrating to watch play out, because as soon as it happened, I was just like, oh, brother, here it goes.
Yep.
Everybody's got to get their clicks.
And it doesn't feel like anyone really learned anything. It doesn't feel like this is not going to happen again now as a result of this.
It's going to happen again. And that's why I said it's just sad. When I'm sitting there, like, when you say, like, whether it's racist, I was like, the problem is that it was a problem. Like, okay, as a school, you were scared. Okay, do your job, follow procedure, and end it. But taking it to the umpteenth degree is the problem. Because kids I've had kids get arrested in my school for all kinds of stuff. I've had a kid in my high school who had a gun. And guess what? The cops came, they arrested him. It was over in 30 seconds. I had another kid who had a pocket comb knife. They realized it wasn't a knife. The cops left. Everybody was fine. There was never a big deal about it. But when you take it and you handcuff a kid, once you already know the problem is over, like, those are the things where it's like, well, now we got Facebook, and there's a Facebook mom group that says, not my child, never again. And they've got like a billion people to go. Like you said, the way it plays out, it's just like, who needs their clicks?
And it becomes national news. Yeah.
Yep. I need clicks for it. I need clicks against it. I need clicks in the middle. I need clicks for the clicks that you got earlier. So let's get these clicks. Everybody making money, Uncle Leo. Take that, ad blocker.
Takes on takes.
Yes.
No, it's not a dislike button.
I know that. I know.
It's an empathy button.
An empathy button. Thank you, Aaron.
It's a troll button is what it is.
No, because the problem is...
It's going to be like Slack.
Aaron's
it's going to be like...
Aaron's absolutely right.
It's going to be like Slack. It's going to be like, you can react with a little emoji. There's probably going to be lots of different kinds.
Can you
if somebody's dog died, want to like it. You
Right.
want to acknowledge, I hear you, I feel
That
for you.
happened to me recently.
And I think that they probably think that because people don't feel awkward sharing, uncomfortable or bad news on Facebook because they don't want people to like it. They don't want to think about how many likes is this going to get. I think that it's preventing people from sharing some of the more, difficult or intimate things. And Facebook wants to stop anything that could ever hinder sharing. So, I mean, ultimately it's all about more engagement or whatever, but it's just another mode of communication, a passive communication.
What is it going to look like? Is it going to be like...
A shruggy.
Sadly, sometimes I think people are.
Time. Yeah, it's been a long-term project, and
But they haven't. I think what's stopping them is what's the hell's the icon going to look like?
They're trying to figure it out how to.
Right. I mean, how hard could it be to implement? They own the platform. All they have to do is turn it on.
They could choose from any of the hundreds of emojis. There's like the praying, the hands up.
The hands up
praying
emoji
hand,
is a good.
The handshake.
What does that hands up emoji really mean, though?
I don't know. There's the official term for it is like, actually, sorry, I can't even remember. There's been lots of articles exploring what those hands up mean, and I think it's supposed to be.
Is it
like
Japanese? It's celebration.
It's celebration. It's excitement. But I just think sometimes I give people more credit than that. A friend of mine broke her face open. She had a picture in the hospital, and her face, she looked bad. There weren't any likes, but she had like 130 comments, people saying, wish you well, all that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like, how is it going to still promote something when it's diluted? So if like 30 people want to go and say it's funny, or 30 people want to be angry at it and say, oh, this is, I'm against Donald Trump. Like, how is it going to get that congruency of either it's got a lot of comments or it's got a lot of likes? Like, in
the new one, I think the ideal would be that people wouldn't be commenting because they're commenting because they want to acknowledge it, but they don't want to like it. And the new one, the idea would be, or this new sort of iteration, the idea would be there wouldn't be so many comments, but there would be, reactions that were like, condolences, feel better, we're sorry, or a variety of reactions like that. If you use Slack, they're doing this now where you can react with like lots of different emojis, but it does fragment it.
I like comments a lot more than I like likes. I mean, frankly, I like things when I'm feeling lazy, and if I really care, I'll comment.
Which is mostly what I do on Facebook. I'm not going to type anything, and I'm just going to go, "Hey, thumbs up."
But I like it when people take a moment to actually write something.
But I don't have time for that. I'm busy.
Well, we don't express ourselves anymore. Hey, how you doing today?
I got another cat video to look at. I don't have time to type a comment.
It's the equivalent of a grunt.
Oh, that's what we need. Actually, I was thinking we should have a nah and aw but the emoji. Well, okay. By the way, I've learned something today. Emojipedia. Emojipedia.org is a wiki all about emojis. This is called the Hallelujah emoji, also known as the magic emoji, praise hands emoji, Festivus miracle emoji, or two hands emoji. And actually, depending on who's doing your emoji illustration, with Apple, it's just two hands and a bunch of confetti.
Is that the Google one, the weird necklace one?
The Google one is the one, Apple's the top one with the necklace. The Google one is the...
No, that's like a person with no neck.
Necklace, not necklace.
Yeah.
I got
John's
it.
neck.
Yeah, no, the no neck guy is Android. Microsoft has a gray ghost, which is really weird.
Uncle Leo, to make you happy, I'm going to turn my mic off and start doing the rest of the show like this. So you don't hear me talk.
Is that empathy? Is that... What is that?
I can't explain myself because I can't make comments anymore. I have to make gestures. So
I don't know, and I don't care.
I'm going to stop talking, and then we're just going to do this the whole time. And that's how we're going to talk to each other.
I hadn't seen this emoji, this hands up emoji, until I started using Telegram. And then it was one that's very common in the Telegram gives you stickers that reflect emojis. So you can add an extra something by having a sticker that's like hands up.
I make mine
but it
brown.
Could be Hitler doing it or something, which makes...
I make mine brown and just do it as a hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah, well, that's what it... depending... Look, Facebook's really does look like a don't shoot. Emoji 1, I don't know what Emoji 1 is, but I really don't know what's going on there. It looks like drops of liquid or something going on there.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But the weirdest one is definitely Microsoft Windows 10. What the hell is that?
The guy going down a roller coaster.
Is that the Blue Man Crew? Oh, that's what this is. Well, see, that's the thing. It's depending on how you illustrate it. It could really be different things, can't it?
I think of it as an amen. Like when people say, "Oh man, we're going to McDonald's." Amen.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
That's what I feel like that is on everything.
Well, it is known as the hallelujah emoji. So
okay, well there you go.
If you're ever confused, though, you can make the iPhone speak the emojis.
Oh.
If you turn it on to like hearing impaired mode,
right,
and then you send that, or you just like highlight it and say, you can make it actually speak it. So the iPhone will tell you what the names are. For example, the very popular poop emoji, the official name according to Apple is smiling pile of poo.
I want to hear that in Siri's voice.
Yeah, or it's the British. There's a British voice that's the best.
Really, you like the male voice? Yeah. A smiling.
I like the British.
Poo.
The British voice.
Somebody said if you say buffalo 7 times, something happens.
Isn't that the longest sentence that actually is English correct using one word?
What?
Buffalo, 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 buffalo.
Because there's 7 different meanings of the word buffalo.
I think that sounds right. What? Chat room, can you help us out? Someone explain this.
No. That is obscure.
Yeah. It's on Wikipedia, I think.
Well, that must be true.
No, well, the internet, it's always accurate. Everyone knows that. Started in the wrong ones.
I'm going to paste buffalo in 7 times. 5, 6, 7, and see what happens.
Yes.
Bison engaged in a contest of dominance. That's what it means. Because the bison is a buffalo. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
a grammatically correct sentence. It's an example of homonyms and homophones. Teach this to your kids. The city of Buffalo, the noun buffalo, the verb buffalo. So you'd have to know what each
buffalo
is.
From buffalo.
Buffalo.
Can you shuffle off to buffalo?
Buffalo.
Now we're just saying the word too much. What? Who thought this up? Like, who sat down and was like, I know, I got it, guys. We're going to use buffalo and read a sentence with it. Because they must have had a lot of time on their hands to think this up. Like,
who wrote this article?
The Wikipedia page is longer than the Bible.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted.
Are we doing a show or something? What's going on?
This week in grammar.
Yeah. It's all about the punctuation.
Or lack thereof.
All right. What happens if you say Beetlejuice 3 times?
I don't know. Buffalo, 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 buffalo.
Or Bloody Mary.
What happens then?
If you say Bloody Mary in the dark,
yeah,
she appears. Hello.
Did you just say it once?
No, you have to say it in the mirror 3 times. I think. I don't know. You guys know the urban legend, don't you?
No, I don't. No. This is a revelation.
Okay,
Really?
turn the lights down. Natalie Morris is going to tell us some ghost stories, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be
flashlight.
The highlight of the show. Go ahead, Natalie.
Heck no.
That was your moment to shine.
I think she thinks.
I'm up here alone in my attic. Over my shoulder, I will pee my chair.
Natalie, behind you.
I think you're. Oh my God! It's in the house.
It's coming from inside the house.
So mean. I'm sorry. We shouldn't say that.
The children are inside the
Somebody
house.
in the chat room says if you say Donald Trump 3 times, he gets elected president.
Oh gosh, don't say it. Silence.
No one
But don't you?
Don't you want to know what's going to happen? No.
Don't you? No. I'm just.
You guys zoomed in behind me, looked like someone was here.
We're creepy. We're creepy that way.
My sister has never forgiven me for locking her in the bathroom and saying Bloody Mary. She swears she saw something, and it's supposed to be a real thing.
Oh.
I wonder. I'm not even going to Google it.
Actually,
be too scared.
Doesn't Clayton like really into ghosts? Or is it?
Yeah.
Or is it you
really
too?
No, he's really into the. Yeah, we're both very into like.
Does he believe? Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh yeah.
So you think that actually Bloody Mary could show up?
I don't really believe in nefarious ghosts anymore.
So only like Casper the Friendly Ghost?
No, I believe in the afterlife and sort of.
Well, that's
like,
not odd
right
at all.
But I don't believe that, and I believe certain spirits sort of get stuck in certain places.
But Clayton like goes ghost hunting and stuff, right?
He's actually going. For some reason, Siri just turned on. I didn't.
Bloody Mary!
Do you have an
He was
axe?
like, yes, I'm here. He's going ghost hunting with the ghost hunters next week.
Yeah.
Somewhere eastern.
Will it be
state,
on TV or is he just going with him?
No, it will be on TV. It'll be on Fox and Friends.
Oh my
on
God!
Halloween.
Bloody Mary is hovering over your. Don't look now over your right shoulder. It's Bloody Mary. Oh wait a minute, that's the good kind with celery.
I'm actually for these things, like they really do sort of creep under my skin.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll move on. You like that iPad? I find the iPad Pro awfully big.
It is large, but I'm trying to use it as my primary computer. So doing serious writing, it's good for great big spreadsheets.
Makes me long for my mini. I have actually, if Burke or somebody would get my iPad Pro and the pencil and everything, I also got the Apple keyboard and I got the Logitech. I like the Logitech better, but it's so big and heavy.
Yeah, it's a little bit cumbersome just in terms of not of the size of the keyboard, but the whole package.
Yeah. But the Apple keyboard's hard to, it's a chiclet, so it's hard to type on. It doesn't move, the keys don't move.
It looks really chiclety, but after
you
use,
move a little.
It took me about 2 days until I was able to go at the same speed I was with anything else.
And your fingers aren't sore?
No, not at all.
Oh, good.
And it's nice and thin.
You think it's going to be a hit?
I think for certain type of people, including me, it is ideal. And the big question is, how many of those people are there?
Yeah.
Most people are not going to buy. Most people will not buy this and a laptop because it's the price of a pretty nice laptop.
Yeah, when I think about what I paid for this thing.
I think artists will go gaga for it. I mean, pencil is just great.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Pencil is just fantastic. If you like to draw and paint.
This is much like you were saying, Philip, for the Apple Watch. If the apps appear that support this unique form factor. By the way, how does this work? You gotta.
You have to, when you snap it on, you have to put the iPad on so it looks like it's upside down, and then you go like yay.
This is great.
No, it's like
you have it on backwards, I think.
Oh,
Johnny Ive is real.
It just works.
The iPad on like yay.
$170, and it's an accordion basically. All right, there, I got it.
There you go.
There we go. Really want to thank Jason Howell for making this possible. Jason, you rock. It's been a great year and a half with you. I look forward to seeing what you and Megan do with TNT. Thanks for putting this best of together. Thanks to all of you for your support through the years. TWiT is now in its, we have completed, this is hard to believe, 10 years. We are in our 11th year for any show that is a landmark. But this show has continued to grow and grow in popularity. And it's all because of you. So thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic 2016 and know that we will be here, right here with you every Sunday afternoon with This Week in Tech. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next week, a brand new show. I'm Leo Laporte. And another TWiT, say it with me, is in the can. Bye-bye.